And we're back. Welcome, guys. We are leading into Game 5 of the Australian Age of Sigmar Masters 2018. We are here with the leader of the Church of Kerr and Latter-day Mangoes. We have Dave Kerr back.
The Cardinal. The Cardinal.
The Colonel. Game 5.
Game 5 about to be. I believe the last I saw of my opponent, Chris Welfare, is he was in the toilets. He's having a rough time.
You're having a rough time, as in...
He's doing nervous poo.
Really? Really? And Chris is not here, so Game 5, is this the first time you've met Chris on the table?
No.
Okay. When was the last time you met?
So last Masters we played first.
Okay.
Yep. And that's when I first rattled him.
Right, so this is a bit of a potentially a psych game that you're trying to get into Chris's head.
Yeah, I think I'm already there.
Yeah?
I have been throwing a bit of shade at him already. He's shaking his head.
Chris is smiling a thumbs up, so he's either a good actor or he's hiding it well.
Well, he needs to shake something, so he might as well shake his head.
All right. Well, I will get him to respond about the nervous poo. You're going into Game 5. You don't know the scenario. I do. Is that correct? Do you know the scenario?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you tell me?
I cannot tell you. I'm not the TO. I'm just the coach. But what do you think it's going to be, and what would you like it to be?
I'd like it to be knife to the heart.
Knife to the heart. Why of all scenarios is knife to the heart the one that you want to help claim Masters?
Because I know that I'm up on VP on him.
Yep.
So if I can draw that out, it's basically all I need to do is sit on my objective and just shoot a Lariel off, and then...
I think that's the strategy. If you got knife to the heart, you'd shoot off a Lariel, boom, boom, game's yours.
Potentially. I mean, it's obviously not going to be that easy. Chris is a very good player, obviously. He's gotten here. Sylvaneth is, I believe, Stormcast's worst matchup, especially my list. So I'm running the Ballistas, and they play Woods, which, as far as I'm concerned, are the most whack thing in the game.
Look, the Woods are tough, and I think it's no surprise that at the Masters we've had 3 Sylvaneth players, and they've all done really well. So they're doing very well. So they've kind of come back from the GHB 16 nerfing to, they're back on the table and doing quite well. Before we get Chris on to kind of retort, is there anything that you want to say? You've got some love going on. Gammy wants us to show nipples. Please don't. I think that gets us banned on Twitch.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's a bit iffy. But you've also got Horace who's giving you shout outs. And I know we did a big shout out last time.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you want to say to your opponents, to Queensland? This is State of Origin. This is Queensland versus New South Wales. Whoever wins it takes the biscuit home. Chris wants it because he'll be taking a step back from the competitive scene for a little bit. He's got some life changes coming. You want to be the first one to go back to back.
Yeah.
What is your last finishing statement that you want to tell the internet and Chris heading into Game 5 that you don't know yet?
First, can I just do a quick shout out?
All right, do it. Quick is the operative
it's
one.
Only to one person.
All right, is it Doom and Darkness?
It's Doom and Darkness.
All right, cool. All right,
so I didn't shout him out last time. So Doom and Darkness. Okay, last thing.
What do you have to say to Queensland?
Queensland for the win. We're the best. We're the absolute best. And I'm going to bring it home for the boys.
All right.
And one girl, can't forget Gemma.
Can't forget Gemma. Gemma is absolutely dropping bombs here. She's kicking ass. Dave, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Good luck. It's going to be an awesome game to stream. I'd like to bring up your opponent now. Please get off the stage. Don't hit him beforehand. Can you guys get off civilly? Get off civilly. All right, guys. Anyone sees anything, please hit 000. That is the emergency number for Australia. All right, there's no show or budging, all pure fun, all sportsmanship. And this is the opponent. This is Chris Welfare. You saw him playing on Game 4 stream. Chris, how you going?
Good. I'm feeling all right.
How are you feeling? Dave says that you had done a nervous poo while he was talking. Is this true? No. So what do you have to say back to Dave, who thinks you've been literally shitting yourself in fear?
No, I've just kind of been waiting for this. I kind of wanted it to come down to this, to be honest. I lost to Dave last year, which cost me the title, so I've been waiting a year to basically get this rematch, and yeah.
This is destiny. This is the match that was meant to happen.
Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Are you feeling confident?
More than, yeah, I'm less rattled than I was last year, because it was first game last year. Last game this year, I know the army more. Yeah, he's not in my head this year.
Good, and he's watching you across the table. I asked Dave the same question. If you could pick any scenario from the book that you haven't played yet, which is the one that you would like to play heading into the final battle?
Probably 3 places of power.
Why?
If I can get woods on them, I can put 3 heroes that can't be shot off by his ballistas and wrap them in dryads, and it's probably game.
Okay, so
we'll see.
I know the scenario. Dave wants knife to the heart. He thinks if knife to the heart comes up, he's confident he can just shoot off Alariel and the game's over.
Yep.
But you want a different scenario, probably not as strong. So, and you're representing New South Wales, Sydney. So we got a big grudge, state of origin. 2 states go rival to rival for 20 to 30 years. What do you have to say to the New South Wales community, the players in Sydney, and maybe even your opponent's state, Queensland?
Sorry, Queensland, but I'm going to try and bring it home for New South Wales. So
look, we're sick of Queenslanders coming down and winning. Dave Kerr won Sydney Slaughter.
Yep.
Hayden came down and won Sydney GT. So that's 2 Queenslanders coming down to steal our events. It's time to kind of...
Well, Brisbane boy won Masters in Brisbane, so...
It's true.
Let's have a Sydney boy win Masters in Sydney.
And people may know you from a podcast. Is there a podcast that you're a part of that you want to maybe give a shout out to as well?
Yeah, so I run the Mortally Wounded podcast with my co-host James. So, yeah, give us a listen. Follow me on Twitter, at Wounded Mortally.
Not mortally wounded, wounded mortally. Hopefully you are not wounded mortally today. Hopefully you get to take away the biscuit, represent Sydney, secure your place to the Masters next year with the golden ticket.
That would be good.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
All the best, Chris.
Thanks,
I think you're going to kill it. It should be a great game. Should be very strategic.
We'll see how we go.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. So who's going to be next?
All right.
And we're back. We got sound. I've been rated as I was trying to set up for the game. Who do I have here?
Ash McEwen, and this is Chris Tutt. Hello.
So Chris Tutt, you might know, 72 wound Carnosaur. Ash was just on the stream. You might recognise him from Heat 3, of Warhammer TV. We're also being rated by Matt Campbell, who is giving me a beautiful massage. I may be the coach, but he's the masseuse.
There it is. Yep.
Guys, how's your weekend been so far?
Fantastic. It's been a really good weekend. Yeah. I've loved it. Yeah.
And you're all a part of a gaming group, Clan Filth?
Yeah, Clan Filth. Represent.
Don't look at us on Twitter.
Don't look on Twitter. It's all filth.
Yeah.
The filth is they don't roll out in mud. They build some cracking, beautiful list like 72 wound Carnosaurs that are going around.
It's not true. It's actually a 60 skink list. That's the list.
Chrissy,
no summoning.
So, who have you guys playing in your last round?
Each other.
Wow, there you go. So, mate on mate. You played your mate before, Matt Campbell. You played your mate, Chris Welfare. How do you think this last rivalry will go down?
It's going to be an interesting game. So we've just discovered that the scenario is better part of Valor. Possibly my worst scenario in the entire game. So I'm expecting a loss.
And it's a shame that my army moves before the game, can deploy 3 inches away from him, teleports around, and outdrops. So it's a bit unfortunate.
I'm expecting a turn 1 loss.
I heard that the last game you had some failed teleportations that may have hurt you. Is that true?
Look, that's about average. It's happened every game.
It's going to happen when you're rolling 1s and 2s to fail it. So fingers crossed for that.
Well, you're the changer of ways. I'm sure you see it coming.
That's it.
There it is.
Guys, anything you want to say to the internet, to Sydney, to the world before you guys kick off a great game?
There you go. Anything to say?
Not much, no.
60 skinks.
Yeah, 60 skinks. Let's see how many are left.
60. So Chris, last time he said that to me, he's like, I got 60 skinks. I'm gonna finish with 60 skinks. Pretty sure you finished on 0 skinks.
I had 14, good sir. Thank you very
Well,
much.
that's not 60.
Debatable.
Good try. Good try.
Good try. Ash, anything you want to shout out to?
Just thanks for all the support on Twitter. Yeah, it was cool to play on the live stream the last game. So if anyone's keen to go back and watch it, I think it was a cracker of the game. I really put the ringer around Chris. So we'll see how we go in this last game. But either way, I had a great weekend. So
Yeah, I agree.
And can people find you on the socials? You're on Twitter?
yeah, I'm on Twitter at Ash_McEwen.
I'm on Facebook, Chris Tot.
So come check us out. Their guys are great players. That's why they're here. They're doing really well. I think it'll be a great game. I wish we could stream more games.
Yeah, I know, right?
But good luck.
Thank you very much, good
Thank
sir.
you.
Cheers,
Best of
coach.
luck.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy the stream.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Should be a great one.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we are back. So just jumping straight into the tabletop here, because these guys have already started deploying. We just had to fix up a little problem we were having, but we are all good. So you just saw there, Dave, Chris jumped on stream. There's a couple of the other guys from last game. Both Dave and Chris are obviously super pumped to be involved here. They're really excited to be into this game, and I know they're both very keen to pull off the win. So I think we are going to have an absolute cracker for the last round. So we have, as you can see, once again we randomly rolled out the scenario, and we have Better Part of Valor. So an interesting one. Chris has got his Wildwoods down there. Chris has got his Wildwoods down, and they're just trying to sort out. I think they're just going through, checking up on some of each other's rules at the moment, just to make sure that they've all got it straight in their heads before they get into it. Dave is looking very, very serious.
He's talking to you, Mike. I think he's trying to tell you test. So we've got some little mics, lapel mics, so we can hear what's going on the table and attempt to not interrupt them. And Dave's giving us a sexy look while talking to us seductively, like, I think Chris is going to win. I'm pretty sure he said. Do you reckon that's what he said? I didn't hear it. I can only assume.
I think he's feigning a panic attack at the moment. He keeps saying, "Breathe." Oh no! But he's having a barrel of laugh. So I think he's looking forward to it.
So just on the floor, the news report is that Dave still has his shoes on. So we'll keep progress tracks how the shoe situation is going. They may or may not get removed. What a weekend, Travis. Have you enjoyed yourself?
It has been a very good weekend. We've seen some great games, not just on the table here, but also around the room. All the players are having a great time. Even the guys who are not coming out with the wins that they, I guess, would have wanted. But they have. So they're currently in the middle of deployment here, and they.
I can only imagine the shit talk that's happening down there.
There is a lot of talk happening across the table at the moment, and they're both taking turns deploying things into the Wildwoods and into the sky. So we've already actually gone halfway through the deployment here, even though there's only one unit on the table.
When we had Dave on the stream, he was throwing a bit of shade at Chris, saying he was doing a bit of a nervous poop. Chris denies that claim, so we'll see who's nervous, who's not, how this will go about. I think it's going to be a real fascinating one. And just to remind everybody, we are rolling these scenarios randomly. So every game we've rolled randomly so far. This game was rolled randomly, so Better Part of Valor. Valor,
something.
It's
Australia. Valor. Yeah, Valor.
I like Valor.
You don't even say half the syllables.
I feel like I should be in Game of Thrones. I'm pretty sure I'll be like the anchor man that reports that King Joffrey is a jerk. Probably get my head cut off as well.
Possibly.
So should we maybe, while the guys are setting up, should we maybe talk through some of the lists and let people know what they're streaming into? We know Game 5 is going to be the most exciting one. It's the grand final. It's the last game that we're going to be showing. So these two opponents have gone 4-0. Neither of them have lost today. I know, and I think Dave mentioned it in the little interview. These two met each other round 1 last year at the Masters.
Yep.
And one of those really sad moments that we were denied this matchup. But we're lucky. It's a new year. Chris has spilled his dice already.
Yep, he's dropped his dice all over the floor.
He's channeling his cranky Liam. He's embracing Sydney. Liam's giving us a shout. We should talk the list now. I said 5 minutes ago we'd show lists, and we hadn't done it yet.
No, yes, so the list. So just to
you do welfare. I do.
Yep. So just to refresh everyone's memory, so we've got Chris with his Sylvaneth from Ugu, We have Alaril the Ever Queen, Spirit of Durthu as the General with the Gift of Gairan and the Doppelganger Cloak. We have Branch Wraith number 1 with Ranu's Lamentary. Branch Wraith number 2 with the Acorn of Ages. 30 Dryads, 10 Dryads, 10 Dryads, 10 Dryads. Forest Folk Battalion, Winterleaf Wargrove, Chronomatic Cogs, 2,000 points on the dot with the 2 extra command points from the 2 battalions there. So say obviously same list as last time, and we're just seeing Chris drop some of his stuff down now. Dave has spelled his name out in dice on the screen. He doesn't realise that
it's upside down.
He doesn't realise that it's upside down, but he has actually spelled his name out in dice. I don't think he realises the camera's not the way he thinks it is, but
I'm sure somebody will take a screenshot for us and flip it around, and I'm sure he'll appreciate that. But Chris is the challenger. Chris is the challenger for
Chris
the title.
Is the challenger here. So obviously Dave, the defending champion, so he's trying to take home the title again. And look, there's been a bit of talk in the chat there about the scenario and the implications of that. So as you said, we don't have any control over it. It was random, and they've been doing it randomly, and they're sticking with it. So it was always going to be a bit of a random draw. It probably, it obviously does favour Chris somewhat, but it'll be a true test of the current master to see if he can hold off the Sylvaneth. Dave is actually deploying units. They're all just getting deployed in the sky.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff actually is deployed at the moment, but you just can't see it. So speaking of Dave's deployment...
Before we jump on to Dave, can I just talk about Chris's credentials?
Yep.
Like, what got Chris here?
Yep.
So let's talk about Chris and how he got an invitation to the Masters. So, Chris, this competitive year, so our competitive year starts on the 1st of November and finishes on the 31st of October. So Chris has gone through, and some of his performances, I guess working from the most recent backwards, is he got 13th out of 71 players at Sydney GT earlier in the year. He came 7th out of 41 at RCGT. He got 9th out of 18 at Battleborn, which was a 2.5k battle. He's done well at the Call to Glory, which was CanCon, coming in the top 30% somewhere. And then he's got a whole range of other performances that have backdated to the start of Age of Sigmar. Chris also played...
You got first place as well.
He did get first place at Gods of War, so that was another event that happened in Sydney. So Chris also played last year at the Eggs event, which was in the UK, I think run by Facehammer. Chris is no stranger to competitive match play, so should someone take take Dave off the mantle, Dave definitely has a challenger to the throne. He is no stranger to victory. While we respond to some Twitter chat, I'll go through Dave's list, and then Travis can maybe tell us about Travis's credentials.
Credentials? No one cares about my credentials.
You're pretty good at painting, and you're a good player.
I'm never getting an invite to Masters, though. So anyway, so Dave's list.
All right, so I'll go through Dave's list, and Travis can tell us the credentials. So Dave Kerr, first time we've seen him on the stream this weekend. Dave Kerr has taken his Stormcast Eternals, and he has a Storm host. He has the Anvils of Helden Hammer. His leaders are the Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger, which is the General. The command trait is Deathly Aura, and the mount trait is Wild Rider. He has a Lord Castellant, a Lord Ordinator, which has the artifact of Soul Thief. He has a Knight of Vexilor with the Pennant of the Stormbringer. He has a unit of 10 Sequestors, Storm Mace with Soul Shields, and 5 Storm Smite Great Maces. He has 5 Sequestors. He has 6 Kitty Cats.
Yeah, the 6 Dracoline.
Evocators on Dracolines. 6 kitty cats. First time we've seen some kitties on the stream.
It is indeed.
And 4 of them have the Grand Stave. He has 3 more machines. He has a Celestial Ballista, and a Ballista. This list comes to a total of 1,980 points. So he is actually got less points than Chris. And without not saying it too loudly, I'm curious to see if he remembers he has a triumph.
We'll see.
Something that's often forgotten about in this game. He has no additional command points. There are no battalions. He doesn't get an additional command point. He has 114 wounds, no allies. So that's Dave's list. Strong list, 4-0 at the moment. What's his credentials? Why is he here today?
Yeah, so strong list and definitely a strong player. So Dave got here today, obviously. So, well, he gets an automatic invite because he won Masters last year, but that didn't slow him down at all. He came in 8th at Brishammer 2 earlier in the year, just back in October. 3rd Sydney GT. Most notably, 1st at RCGT 3, 1st at Brishammer, and 1st at Sydney Slaughter. So he's picked up 1st place 3 times in grand tournaments for this season.
So his trophy cabinet's quite big. He's got
and he also came in 2nd at Call to Glory, which is 104 players back in January this year. So he was just pipped there by Adam Burt, who ended up winning it, I think. I'm not sure. But
I think there's a podcast that might have mentioned it once or twice.
It was mentioned once or twice. But so he's a very strong performance. So despite the fact that he had an automatic invite, he still went on to top the table for the year, to top the rankings for the year with a perfect score of 300. So he's well and truly earned his place here twice over, basically.
So he has strong credentials. It wasn't a fluke. He's gone in and proved himself again and again why he is the master. Speaking of round 5, let's go through some of the other games while the team deploy. So on table 2, we have Matt Campbell with his Blades of Corn up against Michael Crichton, who's Sylvaneth. We have table 3, we have Liam Burnett Blue with his Sylvaneth versus Pat Nevin, which is running, I believe, Corn. I'm pretty sure he was Corn. We have Adam Burt, who's running Stormcast, versus Joel McGrath, the Overlord, with his Host of Slanesh. Table 6, we've got Scott Norwood with his Grand Host of Nagash against Jesse Perkins, which is Daughters of Cain. We've got Ethan McDonald, which is the Lee's Sacrament. I think it was Grand Host. I think it was Sacrament.
Yes.
Yep. So Sacrament against Tick McDivitt, which is also Sacrament.
I think so. I believe it is.
I think it's a double Sacrament.
Yeah,
it's a mirror match.
Yeah, it is. I believe it is actually a double death, double Sacrament. Away we go.
Double Arcane, I think. So we've got Nightbot in the chat who's just said... So if you type in exclamation marks lists, you can see all the lists. But I think it might be a double Arcane. Interesting. So Arcane, as we know, knows the spells on the table of death. We've also got Hayden Walker with his Ideneth Deepkin against Gemma Shepherd. Dave's throwing shade. Chris has just run off. Dave, what happened? Dave's saying that Chris
is apparently very nervous and has had to run to the bathroom for the 2nd time in half an hour.
So we have turned the mic off for you guys, but I'm sure that's not what's happening. I'm sure he's getting himself a delicious beverage. We've got Thomas Holdsworth with his Mixed Chaos / Skaven up against Corey Ford, which was Nurgle. I think it was Nurgle. And then Josh Mahar, which was Legion of Sacrament, up against Rob Reimers, the Mother of Dragons, with his Stormcast with double Star Drake. Overall, pretty good.
Yeah, that should be interesting. So who have we got on table 2? So table 2, Michael.
Michael and Matt.
Interesting.
Who do you think is going to win some of the other tables? Who do we think maybe is going to... Because really, Matt versus Michael is podium worthy.
Yeah, so that you would presume whoever wins out of that one will be sitting on the podium somewhere.
Yep.
And then I'm guessing it'll be a little bit more down to tiebreakers and stuff at that point. But I'm guessing whoever wins out of table 3 is potentially looking at that.
Liam and Pat as well. So we know Adam Burt has a minor victory.
Yep.
So that minor may stop him from being in contention.
Possibly,
unless the others only get minors today or this round. But you can also imagine the top 3 top 3 tables are in contention for a podium. But
All right, so you just saw the handshake there. So they are underway. Chris is taking the first turn, as you'd expect, and they are into it. So just in terms of the deployment there, you can see bottom middle of the table there, you can see, and they've swapped sides on me, so the scoreboard's back to front again. But
must be because Dave wanted his dice to say Dave,
possibly
because it was upside down before.
Well, I think they were that way before they said that. But anyway, so Chris is actually on the bottom and Dave is on the top, despite the score's been around the other way. So you just have to mentally flip that one. But as you can see, so along the bottom there, we have Alariel on the right, Durthu on the other side of the realm gate there. Big block of 30 dryads in the middle, sort of slightly off-centre to the middle there. And the rest of Chris's army is deployed in the realm routes. There is a branch wraith somewhere, but I can't see her at the moment. I'm not entirely sure where the branch wraith is. He's probably hiding in amongst some terrain again. I'll try and find out. But no, there it is. So the branch wraith is actually just at the front. There's a branch wraith. So there's a branch wraith just there, just in front of that piece of terrain.
Yeah.
A bit hard to see, but so there's a branch wraith there who's just dropped out the acorn to create that extra wildwood. And then as far as Dave goes, we've got across the back there, so on the top left there's Lord Arcanabel Griffcharger and 5 Sequitors in front of them, and then in the middle is sort of the concentrated bulk of his army, so there's a unit of Sequitors in front of the 6 Dracolines, and then on the other side of the board the 5 Sequitors again, and another character, I think it's another Arcanum on foot.
So while we start the hero phase, I might quickly just go through how the players are going to win this scenario, but Travis, you keep interrupting me if we have something that's come through.
No, that's all right. They'll be here for a bit sorting stuff out here. So
this is a better part of Valor. So this is a General's Handbook scenario. So the players are going to be battling over 6 objectives. 3 are located in each of the players' territories. Now, the way you score it is it's traditional scoring, so more models around the objective. The more points you score, the person's going to win a major victory. So pretty stock standard in regards to securing an objective. However, the challenge and the thing that becomes really interesting about this match is the amount of points that the objectives are worth and how you go about it. So this becomes very strategic. So at the end of your turn, the player can choose to either control the objective or burn the objective. So you don't score by holding the objective. You only score when you burn. So if you gain when you hold the objective, you get 1 point. If the player controls it for 2 turns in a row, you score 2 victory points. If the player controls it, the objective the wording is quite funny. It says, the player controls the objective at the end of their turn before last, which essentially means the 3rd turn. You score 4 victory points. And then if the player gains control of the objective in the first battle round and hasn't lost it by the end, it's worth 8 points. So very much the value of the objective doesn't change in round 4, assuming you hold it from round 1. So basically, the longer you hold it, the more points you're going to get. Now, at the end of the turn, if they want to burn it, that's when they claim that 1, 2, 4, or 8 points. So it'll be interesting to see, once the objective's burned, it's removed off the table, and it really comes down to, do I burn it early and then kind of challenge my opponent for theirs? Do I hold mine and try to get those 4 or 8 points? Is it a combination of the both? And the interesting thing is you can move off the objective, so you don't need to be on the objective to burn it. You could initially claim it, move away, and then if you feel like it's at risk or you feel like you might get double turned, you could burn it before the end of the round. So or at the end of your turn. So a lot of strategy in this one, like in regards to timing.
Yeah, so there is. So it'll be interesting to see. So
Question from the chat. Where are the trees? So we have played with the Sylvaneth Wildwoods and trees every game. However, knowing Sylvaneth and know the amount of trees come up, it's quite challenging to capture where all the models are and what's going on from a miniature point of view. So we've decided from a stream point of view, we'll take the trees off for today, for this game and this game only. However, the other tables will have trees in their Sylvaneth Wildwoods. It's a rule that we've set at Masters. While we appreciate that it does look better with trees, it does make it hard.
yeah, so we did have a bit of feedback last time, I guess, that people couldn't really see. They couldn't tell what models were where. So we're just trying to make it a little bit easier. The holes are still occupied, I guess you'd call it. But it's just so it's a little bit more visually easier to see what's going on.
Yeah, so it's definitely hard to please the chat. Last game, it was, please remove the trees. It's hard to find where things are. Now game 5, it's where's the trees? We want the trees. So given that this is the Masters, given this is the best of the best, while we appreciate and recognise that trees do look better.
So Chris is just debating with himself a little bit here. So Chris is just debating a little bit here. He's debating whether or not to go for the super aggressive attack. And Dave's comeback was, if it fails, I'm going to kill you. So he knows that he knows what Chris is thinking, obviously. And if he goes for it, I think it's an all or nothing play from Chris, because if it doesn't work, I'm pretty sure Dave's going to turn around and take him off. But so there is a sort of a pivotal decision moment here.
We did see last game Chris was quite aggressive with so he got to dictate who went first in the first battle round. He dictated to go first. He played quite aggressively, took the Lord of Change down to 1 wound, started to really whittle down Ash McEwen's Zench. But we know that Stormcast is a little bit tougher than Zench when it comes to combat and armor saves. So if it doesn't quite pay off, Dave can punish him quite significantly.
Yeah, so the fight back, if the all or nothing approach fails, is going to be devastating for Chris. But we'll see what happens. So the once per game summon from Alariel has summoned up 3 Kernoth hunters again. And she has also popped her once a game command ability. So Alariel has gone all in and used all of her once off in one go. So looks like might be going for it.
I think you're going to see a lot more thinking and a lot more strategic play.
Yeah,
today.
So it's already happening. It's already happening now. So Chris is trying to sort of mentally map out, because obviously a lot of his army is still actually deployed in the realm route. So it's not actually on the table right now. It's ready to pop up. So he's just trying to mentally map out. He's trying to mentally map out where different things are going to go, what order he needs to do things, when's he going to move, his other units in, where are they going to go.
Guys, hot off the press, we've already had 1 game finish. So it looks like Luke Taylor has been defeated by Dalton Copeland, I believe it is. So Measured Gaming, we've handed in the book. It looks like armies are being packed up. So I'm not sure if there was an incorrect deployment or if there was something's happened, but
sure. We'll try and find out.
Game 1's already done for Luke and Dalton, but let's get back to the Masters.
So just in the hero phase there, the other thing that happened that's of note, so the chronomatic cogs have been placed just slightly above that branch rate near the realm gate at the bottom of the screen. So there is cogs in play on the table.
So in the chat, who do you think is going to win this one? Do you have the back of Chris Welfare, a new challenger to the throne and taker of the mantle, or do you think Dave will be the first to go back to back, being the master? Who would you bet Who would you bet on? So, do we have any stats on this particular round? Do we know yet the likelihood of victory?
We do. So just so the so the 30 dryads are teleporting across the teleporting from one wildwood to the other. So they're just going to pop out in front of that unit there. I think Chris is maybe getting a little bit flustered here because he's actually forgotten a couple of things now. He's admitted he's made a couple of mistakes. So he forgot one of his spells. He forgot to take his damned hit on the unit of dryads at the back there. He was meaning to take damn, but he forgot about it. And most importantly, he didn't do his forest folk. He didn't do his forest folk fade from view, so the once per game maneuver for them. So he's said it himself. He's probably a bit nervous, and he's actually made a couple of mistakes. So it'd be interesting to see if Dave capitalises on those and punishes him.
And this is probably this is why playing on the stream is so much pressure. Not only are you playing for such a big mantle, but you know that the whole world is watching. Like families are huddling around their television right now, putting this on the cinema. They've got popcorn, they're watching this epic clash, like two gladiators fighting.
Dave is whispering into his mic. I don't think Chris can hear him, but he's whispering into his microphone something about a 7-Eleven. I don't really know how that's related, but he's not saying anything. He's just got the power. He's just standing there, just silently watching. But I think he's getting in Chris's head a little bit. And Dave has said that he thinks he made a mistake in deployment. So he thinks he might have buggered something up.
And even what's funny is even if Dave just whispers into his microphone and doesn't say anything, that psychology can come in, and we don't know. So he's got to get out of his head. He's got to stop thinking about his opponent. He's got to stop thinking about the commentary. He just needs to focus on his game plan that's got him here and absolutely decimated his opponents along the way.
Yeah, so just what you were asking about before, so the stats-wise for this game, while they're finished moving stuff around, actually, they might be doing charges. We'll just wait for the charges to happen. No, not yet. So the stats we'll just quickly go through. So for this one, so for this table, we have Dave Kerr, 49.4%, Chris Welfare with his Sylvaneth at 56.9%. So going purely by the numbers, Chris has got this one in the bag by 7% or thereabouts. And the chat believes this scenario is better suited to Sylvaneth as well. So stats are saying that Sylvaneth probably should take this one. The chat thinks the scenario is better suited. Let's see how this goes. We'll see how it plays out. So table 2, we have Matt Campbell with his Blades of Corn, Michael Crichton with his Sylvaneth. Again, another one that's in favour of the Sylvaneth there. So they think the stats say that Michael should walk away with that one. And just having a bit of a look over, it looks like he's sort of making his way across the table there. Lariel's halfway across. There's wildwoods popping up on. There's actually not that much in terms of the wildwoods at the moment, so he's like he's getting at his 2 down, but I don't know about anything beyond that.
He is playing on quite a heavily dense board with terrain, so the opportunity to put down a full base could actually be quite difficult with Michael. If we look at the table, there's not a lot of spaces.
So the next one down there, so Liam with his Sylvaneth versus Pat Nevin with his Blades of Corn. So another one that's 56 to 50 odd. So another one that's slightly in favour of the Sylvaneth there. So it's quite interesting. We've actually got the top 3 tables have a total of 3 Sylvaneth
and 2 corn.
Dave would just like Queensland to know that he loves you all, even though he wasn't born there. He considers himself a true son of Queensland, and if you could love him back, that would be great.
I think he was born in South Australia, I believe. He's a Radaladian, I think is his background.
I think so, yes.
So Dave, where is the trees? The trees have been deliberately taken off. The feedback was that having the trees in the base was very difficult to see where models were placed. And given that this is for the Masters and positioning is going to be absolutely critical, we decided that removing the trees would be a better experience for you, the viewer, so you could see where things were and how they were interacting on the tabletop. So. Horace disagrees. We have the worst intel.
Apparently we do. I'm not sure what on.
I assume that maybe it's the call that he's from Adelaide.
Oh no, he's from Canberra. There you go.
He's from Canberra. It's basically Adelaide. Canberra, Adelaide, same thing.
Sort of.
Well,
they're only about 1,200 kilometres apart.
I guess Canberra's got Mooseheads, right? It's got CanCon, Mooseheads. It's got the Science Museum.
It's got CanCon. That's definitely a positive. I don't consider Mooseheads a positive. Science Museum is interesting.
So, and the feedback from the chat, about the trees. So, every table, this Masters, the trees have been played. The preference from the players is to play with the trees. However, just from the last game, it was a lot harder to see models. So, this is about your viewing experience. I hope you work with us here. And Runax equals Moosehead. So, that's Gabe. Gabe is like Mooseheads, I'm told. Is that because he's pretty, or is that because he's like debauchery? Or
I don't know. I deliberately steer clear of that place since I once went and looked. Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Runax or Mooseheads?
Mooseheads.
Okay.
So the last unit. So this is the last unit of Chris's Dryads that are coming down now. So another unit of 10. So he looks like he's going to go for it. So these will be average roll to charge, because I believe the cogs, I'm sure he didn't turn it the other way, but the cogs will be giving him +2 to the charge. So.
Did we see cogs go off last game with Chris?
No, he didn't manage to do it last game. He kept getting stopped by Ash's Zench, so he didn't actually get them out last time.
I mean, if you cast if you're Chris and you're casting cogs, are you going for the extra spell and maybe awakening the woods, or are you going for that extra movement and increasing your charge potential? I think some people in the chat are surprised by the amount of wildwoods being thrown down by Chris. So it's showing you sheer board dominance from the wildwoods. So just listening intently to what's happening.
So the Kernoth Hunters are trying to shoot at the unit of Sequitors over there. Alariel also tried to shoot at them but missed.
And just hot off the press, Sean Tubbs from New Zealand has just won the New Zealand Masters, I'm told. So
there you go.
Notorious Hammer, well done. I think it's Big Sean. Congratulations on your New Zealand Masters victory. He was recently on a stream with me on the road to CanCon, so great guy, great winner. Matt Gammy, please don't pick a fight with Nightbot.
I can just turn the settings up.
I know you've just shaved your moustache off and you're not feeling as masculine as you were before. I know I feel very masculine with my moustache. But please don't pick a fight with Nightbot.
So Dave is currently singing into his microphone while Chris does all of his manoeuvres.
What song is he
singing? I'm not
singing?
sure what song. I don't know a song that just says baby over and over again.
Everything's so deliberate with these two. Oh, Dennis has looked at me and laughing. I don't quite know what's going on. It is his birthday. Congratulations, finally turning 21. The chat. Yeah, look, Horace, I could be a predatory spell. That's why I like to take turn 2. Sorry, the bottom of the turn. So. Dennis is indeed a babe and it's his birthday, so when you see Dennis, make sure to give him a massive shout out. The guy's travelled from Queensland to Sydney to assistant TO the Masters on his birthday, so absolutely legend. That is Dennis. What's happening at the table, Trav?
So the unit of 10 Dryads on the top left there have made their charge in, and a second unit of 10 Dryads are moving in. So looks like there's going to be 10 Dryads on the top left, 10 Dryads on the top right. Alariel hasn't rolled her charge yet, so but she's quite close because she just flew over. So she shouldn't have a huge charge to make it in with the cogs. So I'm guessing she'll go in there as well. Just need to wait to see where that the second charge. I'm assuming she'll go in. I can't imagine she won't be for any reason.
This is probably where the +2 movement from the cogs is going to come into play.
Alright, so Alariel just needs a 5 to get in. Yeah, so she easily makes it in. Alright, so Alariel's in. She's going to do her charge, the Beetle's charge damage. It's going to hit the Dryads as well because it doesn't hit just enemy. So hopefully Chris doesn't kill too many of his own Dryads. That would be not what he wants to see.
Though he does have a box full of Dryads that could come out.
Yeah, it's just more if he drops his numbers too low. Okay, and the Sequitors, as you'd expect, have gone defensive, so they're both re-rolling save. And the Sequitors take only one mortal wound.
We would have been wanting more than that.
So 1 mortal wound on the Sequitors, 1 mortal wound on the Knight Vexilor, 2 Dryads killed.
Probably not the result he was looking for.
No, not ideal.
Although later in the game, those 1 wounds could pay off.
They could.
They could be that difference. I mean,
you never know. It could make the difference at some point. But
I mean, the last game we saw a lot of change with 1 wound remaining. Then that really helped swing back the game from Ash. Although it didn't happen for Ash, that 1 wound Lord of Change got the priority double turn, did some serious spell casting. I think Matt Gammy's been a bit rowdy on the chat. Matt, Nightbot is not Tinder. Please stop talking to Nightbot like that. G'day to Smorgan. Good to see you, Sam Morgan.
Smorgan snuck in at some point. Actually, I think he snuck in earlier and immediately got told off by Nightbot. But
that was a pre-warning, right? We had said, block the Smorgans of the world.
Yeah, as soon as he turns up.
We had the Dwellers below on there, so we thought we only had enough room for one of them, and we had to get rid of Smorgan. But Sam Morgan, absolute champion, Daughters of Cain player.
Dropping his dice everywhere again.
Could have, unfortunately, couldn't make it today. Was qualified and invited to the Masters. Couldn't make it.
So this is happening. This is on the top left. They're just rolling it in the opposite corner, just to get his space. But so this is the 10 Dryads over there, trying to beat up 5 Sequitors.
Well, the good news is, Gammy, the Dwellers don't need to go very far to learn about the leader of the Church of Kerr and Latter Day Mangoes. We've got the live stream here to see all of his awesomeness in play. And the Dwellers below have supported getting rid of Smorgan, so...
Ouch, you're out. Bad luck.
Glad that there may be... Where can Smorgan go now? Is anyone looking for a podcaster? A herald taking applications?
That's not up to me, not my podcast.
Or you can write up a cover letter and send it to Clint if you're looking to a new podcast, Smorgan. Otherwise, you might have to lay in your own bed that you built with Daughters of Cain. And Horace is in the chat, preaching to the gospel of Kerr.
Right, so the first swing over there on that first unit of on the top left there, those Sequitors didn't actually do much. The re-rolls basically held him up, so one Sequitor took 1 wound in the end, and now Dave's fighting back on the other side.
It's a scary sight seeing Durthu sitting in the middle of that tree base wondering where he's going to go.
Right, so the Sequitors on the top right there are going to try and smash up some Dryads to keep those numbers down, I imagine. And he's rolled very well with his hits, so even with the -1 to hit, he's just put through... Ouch, so he's just put through 6 Rend 1 hits against the Dryads. Doubled it, so the whole unit of Dryads just got killed.
Deleted.
Yep.
Was that the unit of 10?
Sorry, there is a mystical. It is mystical terrain just there, so they are going to get a chance to ignore. But 12 damage going through. The unit's only got 8 left. I'd be surprised if they're left standing, and they're all dead.
While I enjoy the new mystical, I must admit I miss old mystical. I really enjoyed Old Mystical, although when I played Teacher Bert Adam at Sydney Slaughter, I did roll a 1 on 40 skeletons that were buffed up with Van Hale's Dance Macabre. So it was good, but also...
It's one of those things that you have to take it in your stride. You know, back when it was, if on a 1 this unit's going to be screwed and that's going to be really annoying, you have to just take it as a laugh.
Yeah, but not when like a Necromancer's just buffed up 40 skeletons with spears. I was ready.
So this is Alariel fighting back here. So Alariel against the Sequitors. So let's see if they can stand up.
LLV, I thought you were going for Chris. How have you been converted to the Church of Kerr?
So even though the Dryads get wiped out there, the Alariel has just come through and killed the entire unit of Secretors, so a bit of a bad roll from Dave, so he kind of evened it out in a way, which leaves a lone Knight of Exilor standing off against Alariel.
That is not good. He would have liked some of those sequestors too.
So just where the arrow is there, yes, there is a Knight of Exilor hiding under a tree, basically, but there is a Knight of Exilor still there.
That is correct. It doesn't mean Chris does take that objective, but what it does mean that right now we're looking at Alariel versus a Knight of Exilor, and then waiting for Dave to return serve.
Yeah, so he won't be able to take the top right one. I don't believe there's anything else there for Chris. Unless there's something hiding I can't see. It's basically the two moles against each other. So that objective's certainly in danger, but it's not falling this turn, I don't think.
We got along.
Is it within 6? So when it was measured out, when he was deploying at the start of the game, I saw Dave sitting there measuring everything as he was deploying, so I'm assuming he kept the Vexilor within 6 in case just this thing happened. But I
that does
know.
look like 6. Obviously, we're not going to measure it ourselves, but that does look like 6.
From here, it looks as though she's still in.
Yeah. LLV believes Chris may have made a bad move being so aggressive in this scenario. His aggression paid off last round. We'll see how that goes, obviously, as the game continues.
All right, so on the other side there, so on the left-hand side at the top there, the Battle Shock has seen that unit of Dryads left with only two Dryads standing against the 5 Sequitors, so... So, interestingly, Chris has chosen to burn... Okay, Chris has chosen to burn the 2 objectives on his side.
Matt, I will not be blowing a kiss to Luke Taylor. He lost in what I believe was turn 1 of this game. So I feel like my kiss he may not appreciate it at this point in time. I think he needs a drink first, maybe. We'll get an update from the table, but Matt Gaming, maybe you need to give him a kiss and a cuddle when he gets back.
All right, so it is over to Dave Kerr's turn. So he's got his game face on now. So tempted to start with a reroll on the calls them Battle Cats. I know that's what I'm going to call them Battle Cats. A reroll on the Battle Cats, but unfortunately he failed to cast.
I reckon Battle Cats is the way. We got told yesterday to talk Chariots.
Yep.
For the Mortis engines and all of that. I reckon Battle Cats are the way to go.
Yep. So on the left there, the Lord Arcanum. The Lord Arcanum is going to try and. So the Lord Arcanum there on the Draca line has just Arcane Bolt the last 2 Dryads off, so they're gone. So Chris has just made some comments. I'm going to try and apologies if you can't hear me, but Chris has just spotted something, a mistake that he's made, and he thinks that if Dave sees it, he can win the game right here without any problems. Dave's having a good look at the board, so Chris knows he's made a mistake. All right, so Chris has spotted something, a mistake he's made, and he thinks that if Dave spots it, he might win the game right here. The Battle Cats are. So the Battle Cats are heading over to the top right there. Looks like they're going to try and carve up a beetle with a demigod riding atop of it. It suggests that's where they're headed. The Knight Vexilor at the back there. It's just going to stay there. And then there's still the rest of the big unit of 10 Secretors in the middle there. It'll be interesting to see where Dave sends them. But it looks like Dave he's got a plan. He's a man with. I highly doubt he's never a man with a plan, but he's on his way to try and round out the weekend. I think Chris didn't have a great first turn. He's saying he reckons he's made a mistake, but we'll see whether or not Dave can capitalise and take it out.
And I just want to clarify something. So I know, Horace, you said that our information was incorrect. I do want to say that Dave Kerr told us that he got into Games Workshop products, or he got into Warhammer when he was in Adelaide. So there was a time where he was a Radaladian.
Maybe he's misinforming you the entire time you've known him. Maybe he didn't want to admit that he was from Adelaide.
Coming from Adelaide maybe brings shame to his family. Sorry, Doom. Maybe being from Canberra was the nicer way of putting it. So Dave, just a bit of history about Dave. Dave has been playing a number of armies, funnily enough. So when you look at his... When he is my son, he lived in SA. I don't know if that's a legit... I don't know if you are the father, if you are his proud father. Congratulations on your son doing so well at Warhammer right now. If it's like a... I'll ask him after the stream. I certainly won't.
We'll double check exactly where Dave was born later on.
We'll also ask, are you the legitimate father? I assume that maybe using his son's Twitch. I don't know. I think if you're the legit father, fantastic. Your son's doing a great job. Keep it up. Is this the first mother or father we've had on the stream this weekend? Potentially.
Right, so we've got some ballistas dropping down here. Well, we've got a handful of ballistas and a very pensive Dave who's thinking through his options. So I'm assuming there's some ballistas about to drop in. He's not power stance. He's currently moving around the table to position models. So we'll see once he's settled back on his own side of the board whether or not he's still going to power stance it up. But so we've got three ballista at the back there. Yeah, so three ballista at the back there, drop down with some nice juicy shooting targets in front of them. Alrighty, so looks like he's got all of it. I think Dave's got all his units down at this point.
There's no more sky drops coming?
I don't believe so. I think he's the only thing left on his in his box is the unit that was killed, so I believe that's it.
There's certainly no summoning coming from the Stormcast.
Alright, so the first ballista tried to ping off the branch wraith just in the middle of sort of nowhere there. The second ballista is going to try and finish her off. Dave's shooting dice are not playing ball so far. The third ballista now is going to fire at her.
Maybe Dave needs to take his shoes off and get more into a comfortable groove.
Dave's dice have failed him there. A lot of ones just came out. He actually, the 3 ballistas failed to kill the branch wraith.
And Dave's not wearing the RC Reds.
The battle cats, sorry, I'll call them their proper dice. So the Dracoline, the evocators on Dracolines rolled the 6/6 for the charge, +2 for the cogs, so they got plenty of options, and they are going to well and truly surround Alariel and see if they can tear her apart this turn.
So Dave benefits from the cogs as well. So cogs is not predatory. It's something that both players are going to get benefit from.
Alright, so on the other side there, we've got the Lord Arcanum on the Griff Charger, who's gone in, and a big 11 +2 for the 13-inch charge on the Sequitors there as well. So, like Dave's going to try and pin both edges of that big 30-man Dryad unit in, and stop them from all piling in against one particular spot. So,
do we get any buffs on the battle cats?
He tried to buff them but failed. I think it was reroll to wounds at the start, so didn't manage to get the buff, unfortunately.
There's been a lot of anti-magic over this weekend. Feels like we haven't had all the luck with the prayers and the spells. So what's really interesting is Dave, I was mentioning earlier, Dave has played a range of armies. So last year, I believe he was running with Disciples of Tzeentch. I know he's played with the Maggotkin of Nurgle a little bit. He's been playing with the new Stormcast now since they've dropped, specifically the Anvils of Heldenhammer. But what's fascinating to me is that he actually won an event not that long ago with Cunning Rock. So he went out and won a relatively large event with Cunning Rock. So
just take a Destruction Army and that fell out of favour probably 12 months ago and just win an event.
Yeah,
so this was that was just the Lord Arcanum on the Arcanum on the Griff Charger there. Just charged in and popped 3 Spirit Flasks for 8 mortal wounds, and obviously 3 on himself as well. But 8 Dryads got burnt from that, and there was the ballista charge. It's hard to imagine, but
is it even possible? Members, it's like a charging with a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, the two crewmen picked up the ballista, hurled it at the branch wraith, and then followed it in.
I feel like he's been following maybe Chuck Moore's strength hammer, just picking up a ballista, running in, ramming it.
Yeah, that's what the crew members do on their day off. They just sit there bench pressing a ballista.
Unbelievable. Dave just showing why he's the master. He's charging with ballistas.
Alright, so Alariel has taken 2 wounds so far from the Dracolines. That was their normal attacks. This is now the Grand Staves. So, and he's put through 5 wounds. One of them gets fended off with Mystical, but otherwise 3 damage has gone through again. So Alariel's now dropped 5 wounds.
How impactful is those 5 wounds?
And this is the actual. Chris thought it was all over, but then Dave reminded him that he still has the Dracolines themselves to attack. So this is the Dracolines. Oh, and his dice have come good after that disastrous shooting phase. The Dracolines have just put 11 wounds through on Alariel at Rend 1. And it does D3 damage, so I think Alariel is about to get torn to shreds.
Wow, from the Battle Cats.
So 5 make it through. For 11 wounds in total.
And he's on mystical, is that correct? So he gets the
so he'll get
6
to
plus
mystical
save.
his way through this. Yep.
So he's 16 wounds total. He's taken 5. Potentially not enough. 1. This is Lord of Change all over again.
So Alariel, it's all over. Alariel's gone down. And the Battle Cats, the Dracolions, Evocators and Dracolions have done their job, and yeah, she was well and truly dead by the end of that. There wasn't even in doubt when that last roll came up. So they're all over.
We don't see Battle Cats on the table very often. They're an expensive unit. That's a 600-point unit, I believe.
Yes, so they're very expensive unit, 600 points for all of them.
So we've just seen that pay off and kill a 600-point hero.
Yes, so yeah, there you go. So he's paid for itself.
Sometimes hard to justify in that type of hard to justify 600 points into a unit of only 6 models. But I think we've just seen why this is a great option, and why also potentially Dave will retain Masters. He's finding new ways of building lists, and interesting lists as well. They're just not cookie cutter net lists. He has built something unique, and it's paying off.
Yeah, no, so that was obviously devastating for Chris there. There is still Durthu there, and, he has the potential to do a lot of damage. But it's looking like Dave has swung it back quite convincingly. We'll see how this combat goes, but I suspect those 5 Sequitors are going to punish the.
And Durthu has the doppelganger cloak, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So that should help in a round of combat. But let's see, I guess, who wins priority. That could change things. What does it mean if Dave gets the priority? Like, what happens if he gets...
Dave gets the priority, I think it's pretty much over. I don't know how Chris would come back from it, because the Dracolions presumably will turn around and do to Durthu what they just did to Alariel. But so this is the Dryads here, trying to drag down some Sequitors or a Lord Arcanum. So the Lord Arcanum has 1 wound remaining. There will be nothing else to attack him this turn though, so he will survive. The rest of the Dryads now trying to take out some of those Sequitors. I believe one of them has 1 wound left.
That is correct. We still have that teleport. So we've got the once per game teleport from the Sylvaneth. That could potentially move. Well, who knows what he wants to move around. We know that Dave and his Stormcast have no further units in the sky. So what's on the table is on the table, but Chris still has Dryad summoning, and he has that once per battle teleportation from his formation. Stratty believes that the power of Kerr is being channeled through the Briz Hammer shirt that he's wearing. So nice shout out to yourself, Stratty. Don't know if Dave would agree. I'm sure he's just harnessed the power of the mango, and all of those powers combined is creating what we're seeing on the table today. Oh, and Dave has the teleport from the banner. Uncle Touchy, thanks for throwing out the... Which banner are we looking at? Oh, with the Knight Vexilor. We've got that banner as well. So Dave does have a teleport up his sleeve. So with the Pennant of the Stormbringer, with this model you can once per battle, end of the movement phase, pick a friendly Stormcast unit on the and remove it from the battlefield, and then set it up wholly more than 9 inches away from the enemy. So. If we need to reposition the ballista, those battle cats which are potentially want to move away from some of the woods. Where would you use it?
Not sure. I think it probably. I'm assuming this is what. I'm guessing this is what Dave's doing, but I think he's just sitting on it because he decided he doesn't need it at the moment. He's just holding it up his sleeve, just as in case something goes wrong.
I guess if Durthu teleports away from that battle and goes somewhere else, those kitty cats could go find Durthu with that teleport, pull that down, and make it very hard for Chris to win the match. Gammy is eating a mango. Is it a delicious mango? Do you have mango juice dripping down your mouth? Or are you eating it like a? You cut it up quite nicely with a spoon. No photos though. Would look better with a moustache, I think, Gammy.
Alright, so the combats are done. The Secretor's there, cleaned up a bunch of dryads there. Looks like. So 12 dryads in total. No, more than that. 17 dryads in total.
17 dryads. Holy smokes.
And the rest of that unit of dryads has just popped from the battle shock there, so they're all gone.
So if you hold this objective for 1 turn, it's worth 1 point. 2 for 2 turns, 4 for 3 turns, or 8 for all 5 rounds. You score those points if you burn the objective. Now Chris has potentially picked up that. To hold the objective, you need to be within 6 of the objective, and potentially Dave has moved his unit outside of that range. So we'll let the discussion happen and see how that's resolved. But based on what we're hearing so far, Dave may not have one of those objectives.
Alright, so Dave has decided not to burn anything. So he's going to sit on 0. He's going to leave it go. Alright, and Chris has won the priority roll there with the 4. So what's that?
We're just going to move the camera back. Sure, there's 100 things going on in their mind at the moment. And we've got Chris back on the attack. Now I've just got a private message from Matt Gammy. I don't know if I want to look at this or not.
Just delete it.
Delete it. No, I've clicked it. Oh, Matt Gammy sent me a photo. It's true. Matt Gammy is eating a mango.
Yep, there is a mango being consumed.
I'm one of the administrators at the moment on the Heralds of War page, so thank you for that. I'm going to be putting it up on your page. Matt Gammy's support for the mango. Did the ballista fight?
Did they? I think they actually.
Did it need to fight? Maybe.
I think they might have forgot about it, but. So the ballista definitely the ballista's shot at that branch wraith, which is why I think it's taken some wounds. But I don't believe they fought the combat.
I don't remember.
Yeah, unless they did it sneakily, really quickly when we happened to be talking about something else. They didn't. They didn't fight the ballista versus branch wraith combat, which probably would have been a non-event anyway. But that wound counter is next to the branch wraith. Dave has implemented a table service policy and sent Dennis off to get him a drink. He's trying to stay hydrated,
and he still has his shoes on, so don't know how that'll play out. Chris is also wearing his shoes for anyone that's interested. All shoes are on at Ashfield Catholic Club. If the ballista did attack in combat, we obviously didn't hear about it from the players. So if you were to guess what Dave does outside of work, what do you think he does?
Doesn't he run a church, I believe, is
the Church of Latter-day Mengos?
Yeah, he does. I thought he headed up a church, a large religious organisation.
So Dave claims that he's similar to Batman, where he actually is an electrical engineer, currently working as a construction project manager. So, do you see Batman when you look at Dave?
I don't really think of Batman as a project manager.
Like Bruce Wayne, he does project management, and then
possibly is that angle. So
and then sees like the light in the sky which says tournament, and then puts on his Warhammer gear. And
it's often seen in Queensland. There's the Age of Sigmar logo is projected into the night sky, and then Dave turns up.
The Heralds of War logo.
10 minutes later, with an army in hand and a pile of dice, and that's how he. That's how they summon him to the events.
Is that how it is? Like it's just like Masters points kind of put up in the stream. Although Gammy thinks he's more like Robin. Is that because of his athletic prowess, or is he Boy Wonder? Okay. Also Fat Man. So. Fat Man, Batman, Robin, Boy Wonder. He takes up many roles. One role that might stick is Master. It could be back-to-back Master. Like, can we just call him the Master again? What's it? Back-to-back Master? Like what's
Master Squared?
Master Squared
is to the power of 2. Something along those lines.
I mean, it hasn't happened yet. It is a 50-50 chance.
So just while these guys are doing some of their movement there and positioning stuff and measuring everything out, so just a quick look around the rest of the room. So all the other games, other than that one game that ended super early, all the other games are still going, and it looks as though there's still a lot of battles to occur. So Dennis is just walking around getting some updates for us now. We'll get you some actual points and numbers and stuff to talk about in a sec. But
no one's going to concede. No one is going to concede because every kill point counts.
It does, yeah. So they're all still rolling at the moment. He's about halfway around the room, so Dennis will be back shortly and we'll be able to tell you what's happening.
What are your guess, chat? What is your guess on the rest of the games? Who do you think is winning? Who do you think will win? How do you think this game is going between Chris and Dave? Does Dave have the momentum? Is Chris going to swing it back? Given that he's got the priority, does he have any tricks? There are other games, yes. Well, I mean, your brethren Tim McDivitt's playing, so surely there's at least one game that's happening outside of this particular one. I know you got blind faith on Dave, but there are other Queenslanders here. You've got Michael Crichton here with Sylvaneth. You've got Gemma here with Ernergal. What other Queenslanders is?
So Chris is pulling out some teleport shenanigans here. I don't know if he's actually going to be able to fit though. It looks as though the units might be able to fit one branch wraith instead. Alright, so the branch wraith, the second branch wraith, the one that's not in combat, has dropped from the other side of the table over. And she's popped up near that objective, so she will claim that objective this turn. Nothing's going to threaten her, her ability to cap that.
Looks like Mick on Mick's table with Michael Crichton. We've still got a Lariel on the table. Looks like one of Matt's Bloodthirsters is down. Not quite sure yet how that's all happened, but looks like a fascinating game between Michael and Matt Campbell. Looks like there is lots and lots and lots of bodies between Liam and Patrick Nevin, so Measured versus Clan Filth. And it looks like Joel McGrath, the Overlord of Measured Gaming, and King of Shit List, Adam Burt, are having a cracking game as well. I can see an Exalted Greater Demon of Slaanesh. At least one's on the table. I can see the Star Drake is still on the table. So loads of bodies. Oh no, we've still got 2 Exalted Greater Demons. I can see the other one in the corner.
I think that's off the edge. I think that's just on the.
You reckon that's dead?
I think that one's dead. So.
All right. Well, we know there's at least one still on the table, potentially 2.
Yeah. The game that happened ended very quickly. So we're not sure what happened there. It looks as though so it was against Luke with his Stormcast, who's very low model count. It looks as though a couple of things went the Khorne player's way, and he was able to just rush over and burn all the objectives. We'll try and find out later on exactly what happened. But
maybe like the old Murder Host.
Possibly.
Maybe we saw that return.
Maybe. So we'll try and find out what happened there, but maybe it's just a mistake or two on Luke's behalf with some positioning that let it happen. Right, so we have movement's done. So a few Sylvaneth units there have jumped around. The Kernoth Hunters and Durthu are making a line for the Dracoline Evocators. Durthu's taking a shot into the Evocators on Dracolines. But the Dracolines have shrugged them off. Kernoth Hunters with bows are going to have a go now as well.
Yeah, it's fine. What phase are we in?
So it looks like one Dracoline there has gone down. And I think we got some updates from the other tables.
We do. So, the couple of updates. So, there are other games other than this one game. Yes, this is deciding the Master, though there are still other games going for podium. So, what do we know so far? We have Michael Crichton versus Matt Campbell. So that is Sylvaneth versus Blades of Khorne. We have Matt has burnt one of the Michael's objectives. Michael is pushing back with Alariel on her War Beetle, and it is going for the Wrath Thirster, or the Bloodthirster of Wrath. I'm assuming a Wrath Thirster. I reckon it's a Bloodthirster of.
I'm not sure. I'd say it's probably
an Angry Bloodthirster.
The double-handed axe one.
Yeah. We've got an Angry Bloodthirster, and the Beetle is going for the Thirster. We have Adam, King of Shitlist, Burt versus Joel, the Overlord McGrath. So that's Stormcast Eternals versus Hosts of Slaanesh. Joel has burnt 5 of 6 objectives in turn 1. Holy smokes. So that would be 5 points. And it sounds like it's a big fight to retain that last objective. So if Joel has 5 of 6, all Adam needs to do is hold his one objective for the 5 turns.
Caps out at 4 though, doesn't it?
No, it's worth 8. In turn 5, it's worth 8.
Yeah, so he needs to hold it.
Yeah, so turn 1 it's worth 1, turn 2 it's worth 2, turn 3 it's worth 4, turn 4 it's worth 4, turn 5 it's worth 8. So if he can hold it till turn 5, he will he'll win that one. Otherwise, Joel the Overlord McGrath will have taken it by burning 4 or 5. So it just shows you the power and speed of Slanesh getting up early.
So just back on the table for a sec. So Durthu has gone into the Dracolines. He's going to put everything into the Dracolines to try and cut them down. So he's off to a very good start. He's got 3 extra attacks with his rule for being next to a Wildwood, putting through 3 wounds. So Dave's looking for some big 5+s here to save his Dracolines. And he saves 2 of them, so another Dracoline goes down, but that could have been a lot worse than it actually was in the end there. So only the 1 extra Dracoline goes down.
So we've lost 2 of 4.
2 of 6.
Oh, 2 of 6. That was what I meant to say. 2 of 6 with 4 to go.
Yep.
But I cut my own sentence short. So we got 2 down, 6. So 4 to go. Couple of other updates. Again, Travis, you tell me to shut up when something comes up. So we've got Chris Tott, Seraphon versus Ash McEwen, which we saw on the stream with his Zinch. So Chris Tott, turn 1, has won. According to the data, he has already won, but is playing for the kill points. So he's obviously burned a whole bunch of objectives, and he's just going for max kill. So I'm sure we'll find out more about that. And then Gemma versus Hayden. The Danger Noodles, which we believe is eels. It
must be the eels, yeah.
This is the second time we've seen the reference to Danger Noodles. Danger Noodles were killed by the Great Unclean One. The remaining Great Unclean Ones should kill the eels in return, so it hasn't happened yet, but Gemma's running the thrice befoulment. So 2 Great Unclean Ones and a Rodigus. So we believe that we're going to take those eels down, and all of the objectives are still on the table.
All right, so Durthu's gone in, killed 1 Dracoline and put some wounds on another one. And in return, so far, Dave has managed to put, I think, 6 wounds onto Durthu, but we're still yet to do the the Dracolines themselves, which is happening now.
Also, the final results for the New Zealand Masters have come through. So we did mention earlier that Sean Tubman, we believe, won the Masters in New Zealand. That is confirmed. So Sean Tubbs, congratulations. Daughters of Cain has taken the Masters out. Coming second is James Page with the Legion of Sacrament. Third was Lee Wilmont with Sylvaneth.
So the Durthu survived the attacks from the unit, but then the extra rolls you make. So the channeling has killed Durthu off, and that unit of Dracolines has just claimed another 400 odd points. So they've knocked out 1,080 points and only lost 2 of their number so far. So
everyone on the stream, continue to watch the stream. I'm going to jump on Games Workshop's website and I'm going to order myself a couple of boxes of Battle Cats. They are kicking serious butt right now, and well pay for themselves on the table. And he still has a teleport. That Vexilor still has the once per game banner. So we could see them teleport in the next turn and shore up one of the other objectives. That is very scary.
All right, so Chris has ended his turn, gone through the mass quickly and chosen to hold his objective, which is probably the right thing. I think if he had just gone and done the panic burn, then he would have been out of it. But so over Dave's turn.
So, we have a return serve. It's currently 2-0. We have 3 objectives still on the table.
So this time so Dave tried to cast the buff on the Dracolines again, was successful, but Chris managed to save it, stop it, unbind the spell, so they don't have their reroll to wound buff again.
Which buff is that, sorry? Is that Empower?
So reroll to wound.
Oh yeah, so that's Empower, that the Dracoline's own spell.
Yep.
Yeah, so... Have we seen the Knight Vexilor's Meteoric Standard come into play yet?
No, hasn't done that yet.
Which is a once per battle, so we can see he may use that this turn to soften the table up.
So Dave's burned a command point for his Stormhost's chamber ability to fire into the Kernoth Hunters with one of his Celestar Ballistas.
So it would be the Anvils of Heldenhammer's ability. So the Heroes of Another Age allows you, with the command point, to in your hero phase select a Anvils of Heldenhammer unit wholly within 9 of a friendly hero, or wholly within 18 of the general, and allows you. They can attack with all missile weapons it's armed with, or make a pile-in move and attack with its melee weapon. So we've seen the combination of the Lord Ordinator and the Ballistas come into play for a free shot in the hero phase.
Alright, so just the one command point put into Royal Tinters and Hero Phase shooting there. So the Celestar Ballista took off one of the Kernoth Hunters. And the Lantern has been put onto the Secretors at the top middle of the board. So that's the Warding Lantern. Yep, so the Warding Lantern is the one we're after.
I don't think I've got it on here. Oh, there it is. So, yep. Warding Lantern, you get to pick a Chaos unit or a Stormcast unit. If you pick the Chaos unit, the Searing Light is going to do D3 mortal wounds. Obviously, there's no Chaos on the table here, so what we'll be doing instead is we will, if you roll a save of 7 or more, you heal a wound. So, and it looks like we've got some of our New Zealand brothers who have jumped on the stream. So we've just finished up the New Zealand Masters. Again, congratulations to Tubbs, as well as all of the New Zealand Masters. Photos look great. I saw Bo won Best Painted. I thought that was a nice touch to have Best Painted at a Masters event. Yep. So those guys have just finished their 5 rounds. Welcome. We've got Duke James in the chat. How you going? Horace is still here. Thonius, good to see you, mate.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
welcome to the stream. Horace, yes, definitely Afterpay. It might be happening. Might need to get myself some Thundercats. I think I worked out the maths that you can get 12 Thundercats plus a Lord in a 2,000 points battle. Have we ever heard of a head-to-head Masters Tubbs versus Kerr? Well, first off, Kerr hasn't won it, so let's not jump just to conclusions. But I think a Master versus Master, New Zealand versus Australia. That sounds like a pay-per-view that should be on some greater broadcast.
Yeah, definitely more professional. Okay, so the Lord Arcanum on the Griff Charger. Lord Arcanum on the Griff Charger has done his ride the winds etheric. So basically, instead of moving normally, he rolls, I think it's 6 dice and adds them together, and that's their movement.
Who was that? Sorry, that was the
Lord Arcanum on Griff Charger.
Riding the wind. So instead of moving, you so in your movement phase that you can use the Ride of the Winds. Instead of moving normally, if you do so, choose the direction that you want to go and roll 6d6. This model can move up to the number of inches that was rolled.
Yeah,
you can move over terrain as well.
He's done that and rolled a total of 31 on the 6 dice.
So
31 on the 6 dice.
So 6d6 gets us a total of 36.
Yep. So
and he's rolled
about 31.
Wow.
So
that's a big move. That's Slanish moves.
So that Lord Arcanum has just sprinted clean across the table.
New Zealand, if you guys want to talk to
the teleport from the Drac Alliance here.
Is this the Knight Vexilor's teleport?
Yes, I believe so. Yep.
We're using that once per game teleport.
Once per game ability sees the Drac Alliance basically swap board edges.
Well, it makes sense, right? Like, there's nothing really meaty over on that objective to kill. And this will potentially stop Chris from scoring if he can seize this objective. There are going to be a couple of Kiwis coming over. Not all of New Zealand's coming over. I think it's 4 or 5. If you guys talk to your peeps, talk to Sean, we'll talk to Chris or Dave, whoever is the master. And maybe the Honest Wargame we can charge as a pay-per-view. Would you pay for that match?
I'll be at the event, so...
Would you pay to watch?
Which watch are we, sorry?
It would be Sean Tubbs, New Zealand, versus whoever ends up being the master of Australia.
Yeah, chip something in to see that.
Throw a few dollars in?
It's kind of a foregone conclusion, though, because, New Zealand should just concede, really. Alright, so this is the Cellstar Ballistas here, taking some shots at the Kerr Hunters again, trying to whittle down that unit.
Also, shout out to the Fresh Prince. No, just giving it more shout outs. We got the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
So just the Cellstar Ballista here. Dave's finally turned on the dice rolls for his shooting and turned one lot of shooting into 15 hits.
Well, that's a bit better than the last one.
Yeah.
Got rid of all these ones.
Chris has to save 9 6-up saves. Don't know if that's going to happen. Yep, and there goes the Kernoff Hunters, so they're taken off with the Cellstar Ballista shooting there. Right, so the Dracolines were looking for a 7 on the charge there because the cogs are still floating around. So the Dracolines got the charge, didn't even need to use the re-roll, and they will plough into another unit of Dryads. If those dryads go down, I believe there is a branch wraith left. There'll be 2 branch wraiths left. Sorry. So if these drop, once these dryads drop, or if these dryads drop, there will be 2 dryads remaining. There's 1 dryad. There is 1 dryad here, and there's another dryad here. So there will be 2. Sorry, not dryads. Branch wraiths. So there'll be 2 branch wraiths left.
Still a bit of summoning to be able to happen.
Yeah. So potentially yes, it could summon back with spells. It could get some more dryads back on the table. But I don't know what that would do.
And I forgot the War Scroll changed. It used to be 2d6 dryads come up, but I think they've just changed to a flat 10 now.
Yeah, so it's no longer quite as random.
How annoying would it be to roll 2d6 and get 2?
Yeah.
Or to roll 12 and you've got to find another 2 dryads, or buy a box for the sake of 2.
Well, when it was random, you also had to pay for them, so...
G'day, Slanice. That sounds like a soft drink. I'd buy that soft drink.
Sounds delicious.
Slanice from Massachusetts.
Yep, over in the USA as well. So we had someone from Texas earlier.
G'day. We've got everyone. We've got LLV who's from Canada. We've got a whole bunch of people. We've got lots of people all over Australia. Let us know where you're from. And might pull this out of the bag from Warhammer is, what are you working on? Are you watching this and hobbying? We'd seen a few pictures on Twitter so far where people have been hobbying while these games have been streaming. What's been your favourite moment so far over the weekend? What should we know about you? Tell us more. I love hearing from everyone in the chat. We know James the Duke was here earlier yesterday. Gammy's eating a mango still, maybe?
Right, so the Dracolines have cleared out a fair bunch of that Dryad unit. But they were maybe going to potentially have a few left, but then the channeling from the Dracoline, the evocators on Dracolines, just cleared up one of the units there. But there is still a couple left, but they're not going to do much.
Nice to see Tim, the Aussie Wargamer here, who's working on some beautiful dryads, which will go very nicely with his Bretonian-themed Lady of the Lake Army, which is fantastic. Check him out on Twitter if you want to see more of his great photos. Slanice is working on ghouls. How many ghouls are you working on, mate? Gammy, it's 36 degrees at the moment. That is hot. Though I hear it's meant to be even hotter in Queensland next week, so good time to get out your good singlet.
Definitely, maybe hit the beach.
All those beaches in Queensland.
Alright, so the rest of the Dryad unit there just...
41 in Rocky, I'm assuming it's Rockhampton. Oh, we've seen a handshake.
And that's
we've seen
it.
A shake.
So they've done the maths. And it's all over. So Dave has burnt all of the objectives at the end there for a total of 5 points. And there's no more objectives left on the board, which makes it a win for Dave.
Dave, the master.
So yeah, it makes it a win for Dave there. So we're back.
Dave is the master.
Yeah,
There is
so
undenying.
yeah, so 5-0 for the weekend. No one else will be on that. So he has retained the Masters title for the second year in a row.
Who saw that coming?
Well, he was one of the favourites for the weekend for sure. I don't think he was the favourite for this game though. He certainly wasn't the hot pick. Everyone thought that Chris had it in the bag before it even started. But
Well, we saw the chat. The chat was saying earlier that the scenario favoured Sylvaneth. LLV, the stats globally for competitive match play had Sylvaneth stronger than the Stormcast. Yet Dave's defied the odds. He's harnessed the power of the mango, and he's preached the powers to the Sylvaneth. And I think Ilaria will be growing more mango trees in the future.
possibly, yes. So it's there's still a few games going on here. I think we got some more results before, did we?
We don't have any more results coming in at the moment, but bear with us and stay with us. We're gonna keep streaming going on. We're gonna get some interviews. We're gonna get some people come up and we'll have a chat. Travis, we're going to do that, right?
Yeah, just quickly,
Let's
because
do
we
it.
need to start packing up. I've got a long drive ahead of me after this, so we will get a couple of people up to say hello. But we'll be back in a sec, and we'll get someone on.
Great. See you soon.
Oh, mate.
And we're back. So, guys, we are here. Oh, no, commentary desk. Here we go. G'day. We are here with the 2018 Master, David, the Mango Mafia, LeBron, leader of the cult of Colonels and Latter Day Mangoes, and is your stepfather in the chat, or Horace. Is Horace your Twitch name, or is that...
No. Horace is my surrogate father.
Right.
Yeah.
So we've had some pretty awesome chat support. We've had Matt Gammy. We've had so many people chatting your name and screaming for you all weekend.
Thanks, guys.
I've had more support for you than anyone else. Massive congratulations from us here at the Masters. How do you feel? First one back to back.
Yeah, obviously I feel pretty good. I played some fairly difficult games. Some of them obviously were a bit more in my favour than others. I'm extremely stoked that I beat 2 Sylvaneth because the last few games I've had against Sylvaneth, I can't get through them.
Your last 2 games with Sylvaneth, you played Michael in Game 4 and Chris in Game 5, so you've really had a tough pathway to become Master.
Yes, yeah, and the Slanesh list I played.
Joel McGrath's list?
Yeah, that was like full crack, running at you, screaming the whole way.
So let's talk about your pathway. So to get to Master, you've obviously gone through and had some amazing performances through the tournament year. RCGT, Sydney GT, Brishammer. You ran BrisCon, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So you've had some amazing performances, and we talked earlier about the fact that you had even won an event with Cunning Ruck. So it's not just Stormcast. You played Zinch, you played Maggot King, you played Stormcast, you played an array of armies.
Yes.
You got here today. Yesterday.
Just. I was like this close to pulling out yesterday when all my flights got cancelled. I was just like, is it worth it? I was like, I want to do it. Let's go. And yeah, I'm glad I did, because
it would have been a hollow victory for whoever won it if you were not here. So let's talk Game 1. Game 1 was who was your opponent? What happened?
Oh shit, I probably need my booklet for everyone's names. Game 1 was Corey Ford.
Corey Ford, yep. Was it Blades of Corn?
Yeah, so he's running a Council of Blood. That list was kind of like an all or nothing list, and I kind of deployed my army so that my 3 threats, because I could deploy nothing in the air, my 3 threats were in different clumps.
Because you play Total Commitment, which meant Stormcast, no special deployment shenanigans. Your campaign already started hard. And I know some people had even had wrote off the Stormcast armies. They said, Adam Burt can't win it, Dave Kerr can't win it, Stormcast can't do it without special deployment. Well, so you were against the wall.
Yeah, I mean, it is our allegiance ability. Thanks for making a mission that takes away our entire allegiance ability.
But you still won.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think putting in the Drax really helped in this tournament, because I had no idea what the missions were going to be. I need the Drax in there because they're kind of a self-contained unit that move quickly, and that's something that Stormcast kind of lack is movement that's self-contained. So that worked out really well for me. And as you saw,
that banner, the Knight Vexilor's banner, was that something? Did you leverage that in your first game without the shenanigans?
Yeah. So I used that really late just for nothing. Like, it didn't really matter at that point, because in the first game he came in and tried to hit my ballistas, and he only rolled 1 explode, so 3 mortal wounds around, and then I think he killed a ballista. But at the end of the day, like, if you're sending your big hammer into one and you kill 1 ballista, like, you're dead.
Yeah, I mean, that was the game where 19 Bloodletters couldn't take down a ballista that was half wounded.
Yeah.
So good Game 1, moved into Game 2, which was Escalation.
Yes, Escalation, and that is where I played Slanesh.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up my phone so I can help you with this. So this is where you play Joel McGrath with his hosts of Slanesh. So this was actually a game that the Twitch community was actually upset with us. They're like, this game should be a Game 4 or Game 5 match, but we got to see it in Game 2.
Yep.
Tell us more. How did the Slanesh match go?
So he outdrops me. Everyone outdrops me. I'm 11 drops. And most people, even with battalions, are like, how many drops are you? Oh, you're 11? Cool. I'm just going to drop singly as well, and they still outdrop me. So I basically play like I don't know who's going first, but I can play either way. So he gave me first turn, which was smart because I played really cagey and I played back. But in escalation, you can't score in the first turn, so that didn't bother me. I kind of just moved up, set up a few more shield walls. Then I won the priority and gave him the turn, and that's when he gave one of his exalted greater demons the warp dust and sent him in, and that thing screamed across the board, killed a bunch of stuff, but allowed me to get the double turn then, which meant I could kill an exalted and a normal keeper of secrets.
Yep.
But then he just summoned back another exalted, and I'm like, all right, cool.
Because you killed three. There was two on the table in the list, and then he summoned a third.
Yeah.
So most people would be terrified with one exalted greater demon. You got to play three.
Yeah.
What a treat.
Yeah, I know, right? Lucky me. Yeah, that ended up working well, just because I could. Because Hellstriders, Sequitors are amazing, and 5 Sequitors will generally beat the same amount of wounds as them, so that's 10 wounds in that unit. They'll generally beat 10 wounds of something else.
Yeah.
So Hellstriders, even though they're -1 to hit, I know they're not doing a heap of damage back to me, so I can kind of reroll hits in that instance. So basically all of his damage then is coming from those Exalteds, and so they were my 3 key targets. And as you saw in that last game, Evocators on Dracolines are no joke.
There's 600 points, and a lot of people would look at that and think that's very expensive for a unit.
Oh, it's hella expensive.
And we'll get to that last game in a minute where they almost doubled their points value in the amount of kills that they made.
Yeah.
But sounds like they paid off well for you.
Yeah, they did. Third game.
That was Matt Campbell. So
Of course, yeah.
Matt Campbell in, that was Duality.
Yeah.
Duality of Death.
Yeah. So we both deployed fairly heavily on either side. So he had that objective, I had that one. And then, so he's running like a Gore Pilgrims with letter bombs.
Yep.
So he pushed that over, he smashed it into my Drax and killed 2.5 and a Ballista. But then that allows me to come back. With 4 Evocators, I'm killing majority of a 30-man unit of Bloodletters.
For sure.
So I actually, he gave me first turn, so I rode the winds onto my objective. And then I dropped my Ballistas and a line in front of him as just a screen wall. And I thought that they would probably die. They'd get hit, they'd die, but at least then I've given him a speed bump. And they shot off his 20-man straight away when they dropped. So all he had is that 30. So yeah, I was just taking off them. And then I think he underestimated how much damage Sequitors can do, especially against demons because they explode. So 10 Sequitors went into his Bloodthirster and just blew it up, just minced it.
Beautiful. It's interesting because another observation I've seen watching other Stormcast players is that ballistas are often when you've got to deploy one unit on the table and then one in the sky. The ballista's the one that's normally put down on the table. Yet here you are playing with battle cats, which is something unique. You've got something like you're putting the ballistas in the sky against something that's different.
Yeah.
So you're playing a Stormcast, and I think some people are just not used to the way you're playing, and you've got a highly optimized list that's different. We'll get to that in a minute. Trust, there's been some awesome chats. So Matt, you had a great game, and then you've gone game 4, which was Michael Crichton. So your first of 2 Sylvaneth challenges. Had a very similar list in some degree. So we had Alariel, we had lots of Dryads, you got lots of movement shenanigans. So it's almost like Michael was a practice run till eventually what Chris would do to you.
Yeah. So Michael, last time we played, beat me.
When was that?
Last Briz Hammer.
Okay, Briz Hammer 2.
Yep.
Stratty's been in the chat for a while, so I'm sure he'll appreciate. He actually says that you won or should have won because of your shirt. So he thinks the power of Briz Hammer was channeled through your shirt.
Yeah.
I appropriately challenged him and said it was the power of the mango. When Gammy sent me a photo of him in bed eating a mango, he at least put a shirt on.
I hope his moustache was just like...
No, he shaved it. He
and-
shaved it at midnight. But I have posted on the Heralds of War page, so if you want to see Gammy eating a mango in bed, it's posted. But game 4, you played Michael. Last time you played was Brishammer.
Yeah, and he beat me fairly soundly.
This was a revenge match.
Yeah. So this is our best of 3, actually.
Wow. Okay. So it was it 1-1
Yeah,
or
it was 1-1.
And now this was the
Michael played a really good game. He just Alariel just didn't do what she needed to do on the first push, and that allowed me to send my cats into her, and cats will kill Alariel.
Well, we saw that in game 5,
Yeah.
right? We saw that.
Yep, 100%. So that game, even though it was last game, I don't remember a ton of details.
I heard, for what I heard from the table, without interrupting you, was that Michael had set up a really strong alpha strike that actually failed him.
Yes.
And then you had returned serve, and it sounds like your counter punch was more damaging, and he just didn't recover.
Yeah.
That was what I got told.
Yeah, it's like the list is really consistent in what it does. It can take damage, and it can put out damage. It's just very consistent. It's basically like Space Marines in 40k. Like, they are what they are. They do what they do. Like, bar the ballistas and how many shots they get, there's nothing really swingy in that game. In my list, sorry.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm really like, oh, I hope I get.
You're very consistent, and you kind of know what you're going to get.
Yeah, like I'm not a Lariel. Like, I've got 5 attacks, and these 5 attacks need to hit and wound for me to kill this unit. Like, there's nothing like that in my list.
And then we obviously saw you in the Masters with Chris Welfare, who was the only other person who could win it with going 5-0. So you both going in 4-0, going for the biscuit.
Yep.
You talk some shit to him and try to get into his head. May have played out. I'm sure I'll talk to Chris and see how he's returned, but how did you find that battle?
Chris is a really good player. He knows what he's doing. He's good with his movements, but he made a key error against me that he'll talk about in that game, and it was the same last Masters when we versed each other.
Right.
He just made one key error that just gave me the automatic leg up. So he was kind of relying on his first turn, that 30 Dryad unit getting in combat. But because he didn't have a hero near, he doesn't have that reroll, so there's no and he knows he stuffed up. He should have teleported Dirthu over to that side.
He said it to us in the mic, and he actually walked away and said, if Dave notices this mistake, I'm done.
Yeah.
So and we were watching intently thinking, all right, is Dave going to pick this up? What's going to happen? And that's the thing with Masters. We've got all these great players with great lists, and all it often takes is to notice one hole in the armor, and a good player who can be Master is going to unravel that.
Yep.
So,
So it probably looked like a really simple game, I suppose, but the movement in it, especially with Sylvaneth, like, you've always got to cover your bases around them. Yeah, I think Chris probably should have done some things differently in his movement.
Yep.
It's just allowed me to kind of push out where I needed to. I could see what he was doing straight away. I knew he was trying to burn all of the outside objectives, keep his back objectives, so then I'm forced to hold mine and push his, where then he only has to castle on his. And with the amount of models he has and can summon, that could be quite easy for him.
I think he had 100 Dryads sitting in a box waiting to come out.
Yeah.
We saw him flex that muscle against Ashley in the game before.
Yeah. So because he stuffed his movements there and didn't get those 30 in, and Alariel again didn't push all her attacks through, which is probably the main issue with Alariel.
Yeah, she's expensive. I mean,
she's expensive.
600 points. She can summon 220. It's still almost a 500 point model when you take that discount into play.
Yeah. So Yeah, just those moves there just allowed me to capitalise quite quickly. I think that was turn 2.
Yeah. So the one burning question from the chat, I know there's lots of people throwing love to you. There are kids out there celebrating a 6th birthday party is also showing love for the Master. But one question that came up that I didn't have an answer for is that Sean Tubman, co-host of the Notorious podcast in New Zealand, won the New Zealand Masters a few hours ago.
Oh, nice.
And there was
Congrats.
a question, well done, Sean. It was a question posed, would you be up for a master-on-master battle at some point in time, like the
100%.
Anzac battle, or...
100%.
I don't know if he's coming to CanCon. I know there's a couple of them coming over. But if that's possible, would you be interested in doing a master-on-master battle somehow?
Definitely. I'm always down for games. I really want to go over to UK to one of their bigger events and kind of test my mettle in a different meta, a different environment. Like, I know they do things differently than we do here as far as like their list builds and everything.
I played at Blood and Glory, so I know like they definitely I went there during the Fire Slayer, everyone there, like that meta, and like for me when I went over, I'm like, no one's playing Fire Slayers locally, and they were top table, so they definitely do things differently, but they're probably also looking at us going, how did Adam Burt win CanCon with that MSU Stormcast? How are you using things like Dracolines and different things? So that'd be cool.
Well, I know Gary Percival over in UK is winning a lot with Gabriel and 20-foot evocators.
Yeah, dropping down, increasing the charge.
So I think Stormcast have a few good builds.
Yeah.
I definitely think my list is a good build. I don't necessarily think it's, the best plus 1,000 in the world, but it's definitely got the tools.
It's a utility army, which I really enjoy, and I think you got to respond appropriately to your opponent. So, anything else you want to say? I know this is the 3rd time we've had you on the stream. Some people are struggling to get on there for the first time. We've had you for 3.
Yeah.
You've been a popular a player from the internet. Any last things you want to say? You've had a number of superhero names being thrown around. One jerk called you Fat Man, but you've also had Batman, you've had Wonder Boy, you've had... Matt Gabby thinks you're Robin, you're not Batman.
He thinks he's Batman, doesn't he?
You
think you're Batman, don't you, Gammy?
What do you have to say to Matt Gammy, and then what do you have to say to the internet? So let's do Matt Gammy first. Matt?
That's cool, man. Matt Gammy can be Batman, because he sits in a cave by himself with a bunch of tissues. I'm Robin, because I'm out there being a baller.
Awesome. And then what do you have to say to your legions of fans? You've won CanCon. What's your final...
Masters. I didn't win CanCon.
Oh, Masters. You might. I'm preempting.
Yeah.
What have you won? You won Masters.
Firstly, I won't do a spin kick because that will tear a hole in reality. You don't want that. Just thanks for all the love out there. Thanks for you guys for streaming it. That's really cool. I think kind of the Australian scene being more out there is really good because we have a really big scene and it's growing. I think we're probably the biggest in the world as far as our numbers at events.
Well, 220. I know single biggest event in singles 220.
Yeah. And we regularly get 80 and 50 to 80 man events. So that's really good. So I'm super stoked. Just come along to the next Masters. Go to events.
And you're going to be running another event. Are you running BrizCon?
Yeah. I'm going to be running BrizCon. I think it's in April. Somewhere around there.
Long story short, if you want to meet this man, you want him to sign your nipple. I noticed a few people wanted some nipple shots.
I love nipples.
Please don't. We're PC. We're not. We don't want to get mature audience here. But if you want to see the Master, if you want to come to his event, come to CanCon. You're going to be playing.
Yeah, I'll be at CanCon playing.
What are you going to play? Have you decided on a list?
I don't know yet. I don't know if I'm going to take a list that I can win with to CanCon or if I want to take a list that I can just fart around with.
We got a guaranteed ticket to the Masters next year, so you can do whatever you want.
Pretty much. Thank you, Queensland, for backing me.
So another successful raid by the Queenslanders. I feel next year us Sydney siders need to get our shit together. The coach might actually have to get onto the table, although you kicked my ass last year by disarming my free people with a single changeling. Made me cry in the bathroom.
That's right.
Double sixes from the Gaunt Summoner deleted my unit of swordsmen. So I think we need to go back into camp, train a little bit harder. Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again for all your generosity, and enjoy your win.
Cheers. Thank you.
I see you guys. Might get a few other people jumping on the stream, or see if Chris wants to retort. So I'm not going to transition. We'll just get Chris on. Chris, congratulations on a very strong campaign and a awesome game to watch.
Was it?
Look, awesome in regards to it was a great strategic game being played out and the best of the best. I know it didn't go your way.
Yeah, one
and
mistake.
You made a mistake, and you kind of spoke to us in there and said, you know, if we notice that, it's game over.
Yeah.
Tell us about the game, not just particularly this particular piece, but how did it all go? What were you thinking? Where did it go wrong for you?
So when you said it was better part of Valor, I immediately was like, I'm not a huge fan of the scenario because it just can be so swingy.
Yeah.
Either way, someone could just win it turn one, and it can be a bit of a non-game. So I'm generally not a fan, but I also just don't like it because it's quite dicey. You either have to decide, do you want to go for it, or do you want to kind of play a bit cagey or not. So, but I'd kind of made a decision if Cogs went off, so I could, if Alariel had cast it and I could get +2, then I was probably just going to go and charge, try and take out both side objectives. I was like not going to bother defending my own back ones, knowing he's got all his ballistas, everything like that. With the Wildwood spread, I didn't want to waste them. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to hold mine, which is what I did on the centre with the Dryads. Just be like, they can't get shot off.
Yeah.
He's going to take him a few turns to get there anyway. My plan was obviously burn my 2, which I did, try and get both of his 2 and burn them, and then he'd be massively on the back foot. Dirthu should have been off on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
That was the one mistake. I should have gone full aggressive, given that I made that decision.
Which is interesting because the chat actually thought you were maybe too aggressive in the first round. So we saw an aggression work in your advantage in the last game, in game 4, where you probably played quite aggressively against Ash, and it paid off.
I'd say I played defensively against Ash.
Interesting, because the chat thought you were being very aggressive. We saw Chris Top be aggressive. Maybe a round 1 charge is perceived as aggressive, but certainly game 4 and game 5, the chat thought, ooh, is Chris being too aggressive? So, but you think you were being defensive, so...
When I say that, I was going to go as in aggressive. Okay, I'm going to try and take both his objectives. So that was obviously the 30 Dryads and the 10 that I put to get one side to outnumber, and then Alariel and the other 10 to take the other side. In terms of being aggressive and sending them forwards, I knew because Alariel flies, the Wildwoods wouldn't block line of sight. So if Dave wanted to shoot her off with the ballistas, she was going to die.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to throw her forwards, knowing with the 18-inch move with Cogs and then the charge bonus, she'd very likely get in and make that charge. And the Sequitors against 5. The Beetle's quite reliable with her command ability turn 1, re-rolling the wound rolls. So I thought, I'll do that.
The Beetle charge, though, didn't seem to go your way. Was it the Beetle charge where the Beetle charged in, killed 2 Dryads, and then killed 1 Sequestor and maybe put a wound on the Vexillor? There was a charge that happened.
A couple of wounds onto the Vexillor.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. Maybe 1 wound to the Sequitors. Didn't kill any, which is great because they need to be a unit of 5 or more models for her to get +1 to hit.
Right.
Killing 2 of my Dryads.
You weren't
okay.
too phased.
Yeah, I just needed one of them to survive in the end, but I thought she's quite likely to take off those Sequitors with that damage 5 Beetle, so I thought I'll go in and do that. But with Dirthu, he should have been on the other side, 9 away. Not only because rolling that 6, as soon as I rolled it, I was like, he could have moved again. So he would have been guaranteed to get that charge in on the other side. But mainly for the rerolls on the 30 Dryads, the charge, because I didn't have a hero in range. And he should have been within range to let those Dryads try and reroll that failed charge, losing it by 1. To just outnumber on both, because then if he was in, I could have gone with Alariel first, so I wouldn't have lost the Dryads on the other side, and I think I would have got both, and I burnt all 4, and then pushed in with Alariel and Dirthu on the sides for his and just threatened him, and yeah.
Wasn't to be.
One mistake in
Wasn't to
positioning
be.
and that's it. So
But the fact that you got top table against the current master, there's nothing to be ashamed about. You had an amazing year. You've had a great campaign. I know you're taking a little bit of time off for the next couple of months, and the good news is you look at someone like Luke Taylor, who got all of his masters points in the last few months.
Yeah.
So all it takes is come back mid-year, Sydney GT, mate. You'll be back here in no time. Well, not here. I think it's Victoria. I think is the next one.
I don't think I'll be travelling. I definitely won't be travelling to any events next year, and I probably won't. I definitely won't get to 3 full weekends next year. So life plans. So I'm not going to be here next year.
I think it's a false sense of security. We're all like dancing around our garden, going, "Yes, we got like one extra ticket we can get in," and then Chris is going to come in and crush all our skulls. But mate,
I very much doubt it. But yeah.
you ran an excellent campaign. It was awesome to watch. I know there's a lot of people in your back who wanted you to win. Someone's throwing shade. Horace, I'm going to find you. I'm going to hunt you down. New South Wales have always had bad coaches.
Wow.
Throwing shade. Don't like the moustache. Calling me bad, mate.
It's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive.
Although I
right.
will just say it's December now, so...
Look, I thought I'd keep it on the stream and maybe have something to talk about, and these guys have kept us going. But Chris, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and awesome job doing the commentary. I can't wait to watch it all back. So.
It's been wonderful. The chat's been excellent. We might pause for a second. We might get anyone else that wants to jump on. Otherwise, the stream might be over. So bear with us for a minute or two. I'll see if anyone else wants to jump on. Hold on, and if not, I'll wrap up. So bear with us.
Cheers, guys.
All right, and we're back. So that there's no transitions here. Travis has jumped away, so the tech wizard has disappeared. So I've gone rogue, and who do I have next to me here?
It is probably a good contender for the wooden spoon, Josh Marr.
Josh, you probably would have won Masters if you ran your free people like I got to know you with.
Yep.
But you traded Sigmar for Nagash.
Yep.
How did your campaign go overall?
I think I ended up with 4 losses and 1 win. So 4 major losses, 1 major win. So, but yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
You are not at any event. You were at the Masters, so no loss is a bad loss.
Oh, 100%.
You just how the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
How did it go for you? So you ran Legion of Sacrament?
Yeah, Legion of Sacrament. Just been running that since the book came out, essentially. Just had some painted models, so yeah, I was just like, fuck it, I'll just run that, and that was basically it. So.
And I know when I asked you a few questions, you had said that your army composition a lot was the models you really enjoy.
Yep.
So it probably wasn't the optimized Masters list you'd probably expect, but the fact that you've come here to run the models and the army that you want to run.
It was actually a net list. Thanks, Russ Veal. Appreciate that.
I was trying not to go down the path of going 1 and 4 with a net list, but
it's completely fine.
Right.
Yeah. No, as you said, great, absolutely amazing players. I had fun in every single game. Even though, at a level like Masters, I still had an awesome time. Everyone was an absolute gent, and I don't feel bad.
No, that's great. No, that's awesome. Anything that you want to say? You're from Toowoomba?
Hello everyone from Toowoomba, if anyone's watching. Go Queensland. Well done, Kerr. Mafia getting up, which is rad.
Are you a mafia? You're one of the mafias?
Part of the Mafia. So.
How did you join the Mafia? Because the Mafia, I always believed, were a Brisbane group, and Toowoomba is 2 hours away.
Just got a message from Dr. Death, aka Mr. McDivitt. So just sent me a message and just hit me up. Also good friends with obviously Heralds of War, with Clint being local. Fail Charge, good mates who I always travel with as well. So I'm kind of like the bit of a
You're a bit of a floater.
A little bit of a promiscuous team member of a lot of people. So.
Well, I can see why you'd be drawn to the Mafia, given that Dave is doing exceptionally well. Tim is here today. I'm sure there's a lot of other great players in your mix.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great. Friends as well as team members. It's pretty rad.
What can you ask for?
Oh, exactly.
And the last question I'll have for you, Hayden, you can come here next. The last question is CanCon. Are you playing? And if you are,
yep.
What are you thinking about running so far?
I have a ticket. I am planning on going. I will take probably Death because it's painted, and probably Sacrament again because it's painted, and that's about it. So.
Awesome. Well, you had some five rounds of great practice.
Yeah. Absolutely awesome.
I'm sure you'll make some tweaks and turn that net list into a Josh list.
Yeah, I think it'll probably go back to the way it was before. Which
you did very well to obviously get here.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah.
Mate, thank you very much. I look forward to the free people jumping into the list at some way.
They'll get dusted off eventually, no doubt.
Maybe like a spooky spirit base of free people.
All my zombies are free people, so...
You're like, oh man. Thanks, mate.
Awesome, guys. Thanks
very much.
Let's
get another Queenslander on. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Now we have... This is great. This is a rolling revolver of amazing players, and we've got who have we got here on the line? And he's left his salt on the table. Oh no, you're not. Well, you did flip the bird at me when I looked at you.
Yeah, well.
Who do we have here?
Hayden Walker, the Angry Wargamer.
The Angry Wargamer, and indeed he's showing his anger. How's your weekend?
Had fun. That's the main thing.
And that's the first and most important thing.
People need to remember it's a game, and you need to have fun.
You need to have. If you come to an event and your goal is to have fun, you will always win.
Yep.
You'll always win the event if you're here to have fun. Results are important,
but that's the main thing. Because regardless of results, things can come down to a dice roll. Like 2 of my games this weekend came down to a single dice roll in turn 5 to decide a major win or a major loss. So, you know what? As long as you're enjoying your games, that's the biggest thing.
And that's it. Winning an event. It requires practice, a great list, luck, luck of the draw on getting the right matchups, the right scenarios, as well as the right dice rolls. Exactly. One priority roll, one save can make and break your game.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. My game against Liam, which was game 1, he won the game because he made 2 6-up saves on a Dryad, and that won in the major, as opposed to me winning the major. So,
and the dice can be fickle, but as long as you're having fun and you get to play 2 of your elf bros.
Yeah, so I got to play Chris, which was a great game. Got absolutely minced, and there's nothing really I could do about that one. And got to play Liam, which is a whole lot of fun as well.
The 2 of your mates, and you got to bring your Deepkin, your Ideneth Deepkin.
Yeah, definitely brought the old stats down on that one. Sorry, boys.
Sorry, Deepkin players.
Sorry, guys. So I went 1-4 for the weekend.
Ooh, which is funny because at the moment in the Masters in the Northern Masters, I think Deepkin is leading 3-0. So. That player is not impressed, or he's actually really happy. I know Rob Symes had mentioned that every time Chaos Dwarves or Legion of Asgore don't play well, it just makes him look better. So well done on helping your Deepkin.
That's it. So everyone's just going to look so much better now. No, I only brought 12 eels as opposed to the normal, 18 to...
Your list is very different. Your list is not the net list eel spam. Yeah. It is a very different list.
Yeah, that's it. And like I said, 2 games down came down to that single dice roll. So it was still fun, competitive list. Eidolon just goes and just eats face.
Yeah.
Takes out Great Unclean Ones and Dirthu's in a turn. But, it happens.
It does happen.
Weekend's a weekend, so
Luke the Dadhammer tells us that Captain America sucks. Now, I'm a Marvel fan, so I'm going to kill you even more, Luke Stone. You now have the Angry Wargamers on my side, I assume?
That's it, yeah. I was already, on the fence because you're playing Scourge Privateers, but yeah.
You are an Elf Bro, and you've just lost your invitation to join the Elf Bro team.
That's unfortunate for you, mate.
But so
there we go.
Anything else you want to say to the internet while we're watching?
No, it was a great weekend while we were here. and I'm hopefully coming back next year. See how we go. Make it 3 years in a row.
Well, I'm sure you'll have an awesome CanCon performance that'll earn you a ticket.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
No worries, mate.
Have a safe trip home.
Will do.
We'll see if anyone else wants to jump on the stream. Otherwise, I will then wrap up with the remainder of the results. So one game I think is just finishing up. I'll see if anyone else wants to jump on. Otherwise, I'll share the results and we'll go from there. All right, we're back, and we're back with Shadowhammer himself, the internet's villain in Australia. Doom and Darkness called him Glass Hammer, and Ash is trying to throw a pen at him already. So this guy is the most hated man in Warhammer today.
You know what? I'll accept that.
You accept that?
I accept that. That's good. I like most hated, but still at the same time loved because like. Everyone needs a villain in the story, which is cool.
I think that's right. Like, we talk about sportsmanship and how, our community is wonderful and positive, but we all can't be wonderful and positive because then it just becomes vanilla. We need the angry wargamers. We need the salty wargamers, and
Thing is, I just got like my temper just like.
You say what you think.
I'm pretty brutally honest.
You are. Sometimes
it kind of sucks that my podcast can't be called Honest Wargamer because Rob Symes took it. So
sometimes your brain and your mouth are unconnected.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about less about that. Let's more talk about how was your campaign overall?
Pretty interesting. So I run Harvest Boon, which is a different Sylvaneth Wargrove, not the Naru, because I try to avoid the net listing and stuff.
Yeah.
And it did quite well, surprisingly. Like I got some pretty tough matchups. A lot of games were pretty much a turn one win, but in a lot of games they made me work for it. So, for example, I played against a Dreadwood. I've never played against Sylvaneth.
Yeah, that was
against Mick.
There was a lot of woods on the board. I saw that, and there was just woods everywhere.
Yeah, there was a lot of trees, and it was to the point where we got confused on where was what because we had no idea what was going on and stuff. So that was like, and it's cool that we had interesting games like that, and also tough games because this is the Australian Masters. Tough games. I think I had more fun actually proving the statistics wrong. I think it was fun to be like, of course, statistically I'm supposed to lose, but I take it out, which was good. And I still think my highlight of the first game was my first game with Hayden, where he needed to kill one Dryad. I had to make 2 6-up saves on that one Dryad, and I rolled 2 6s, and that won me the game.
Yeah, and Hayden was just saying earlier that 1 or 2 dice rolls can make or break a game.
Yep.
But what was interesting for me was that this year what got you to the Masters was a very successful Daughters of Cain run.
Yeah.
You started Daughters right from the start, so
I did Sylvaneth from the beginning of the year with CanCon, and then Daughters got announced, and I was like, hell yeah, I want to play a whole girl army. Let's do it. So I made sure my army was completely female. And yeah, I had a really successful run. I think I kind of stopped chasing for top Daughters. I think that was more fun watching Sam and Hayden.
Sam and Hayden were definitely going neck and neck.
Yeah, and I got it once. I had it for like about a month, and then I saw Hayden and Sam were really wanting it. So I'm like, you two can fight it out. I'm gonna go do my own little side project. So that's when I started doing the Sylvaneth again.
But Sylvaneth was your first army, and you ran it for.
It's still my first love. Like I still love that army. I just love the way it plays. The strategies you can do with it, and also it's so much fun when your opponent forgets that you can teleport, and you can just literally go, cool, grab that objective, and I've done it a couple times this weekend, which is good. So, did a successful run with Daughters, decided not to bring them due to painting wise, and also a lot of people frown upon Daughters, especially with the current the Hag Queen situation.
It's the new Zinch,
it's the new Zinch. So
Zinch were dirty last year, and nobody
and no one wanted to play them.
And now Death is kind of like that as well. It's like, oh, another Death army.
Yeah, so you kind of it's like we want to see if it's like an eye roll effect. Like everyone's like, oh, I got Pedo Daughters, eye roll, and so it kind of sucks. And I don't want to be that guy, so I'm kind of gonna wait for the fix. Like I've got a list that I want to do with Daughters, like another list. At the moment, I'm converting up a Leviathan to be a Cauldron for the new list. So I'm putting a lot of effort into the hobby for the list and stuff. It's just like I don't want to play it till that effect is gone, really.
Yeah.
So
and look, I played Death, and I moved to Moon Clan 6 months ago, and I was really excited to play Death. And then, we had the Grimghast Reaper spam. We've had all this Arcane spam. I don't run Arcane. I don't run Grimghast.
Yeah.
But it's that Death effect where it's like, oh, another Death army. Oh, another, so I fully appreciate where you're coming from.
Someone just asked how long my fringe is.
How long is your fringe?
It's up there, but this is like the shortest it's been in like a while, because I used to have like a fringe like up to here. Gotta stay emo for like the rest of my life.
Gotta stay emo. So a bit of Used, a bit of other
Blink 182 and stuff. Listen to all that and My Chemical Romance. It's good.
Love it. Anything else you want to say to the internet? Any shout outs to Liam?
Shout out to Travis on the frickin'. We were just talking about this with some people. Like, compared to last year's, because this is my second year at Masters. Yep. Compared to last year's Masters, last year's Masters was fun and everything, but the terrain here is incredible. I'm not allowed to swear apparently, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, please no swearing.
Keep it G-rated, but it's goddamn amazing. So kudos to Travis. Kudos to you for commentating, and also to players. I played some players I've never played before. So Tim McDivitt and stuff, which was fun. I haven't played Gemma since BrizCon, where I turned up to BrizCon hungover, so I felt really bad. But she had a really bad game because I drank I was pretty hungover. But it was good, and also everyone's hobby is pretty good as well.
Yeah, really high level of hobby. We've had a lot of compliments on the table. It's been great to see the community really expand. I think last year it was very Brisbane, New South Wales.
It was state of origin throughout the year.
Very much. And now we've got the Measured Gaming boys. We've got Borderline Gaming with Jesse come up. We've got we got the Failed Charge, the podcast, the Toowoomba guys.
South Australia, we've got that.
Yeah, we've got so many people now in the community that there are people that I'm meeting for the first time, people like Patrick, your last opponent. Meeting the Measured Boys.
So I've met the Measured Boys once at Artfest, and I don't think I had a great experience. Didn't have a great experience with me, but because I don't think they understand Cranky Limb.
Yeah.
But now seeing Joel and everyone, it's all sweet now, so it's been good. And just seeing some different lists as well, like the Slanesh list from Joel. Some of the corn lists and stuff, so it's been good.
So guys from Measured, the piece has been drawn. Liam, the two tribes have met, Clan Filth and Measured Gaming have met up. They've got a peace party, they've smoked the peace pipe, and we're cool now.
So now we just need to pair up with Brisbane.
We're cool now. Now we just need to...
Mango Mafia.
Now we just need to find the peace with Mango Mafia. Well, not we. I'm not a part of that.
Actually, I think...
I'm in the middle.
I think me and Tim are fine. So here's my Mango Mafia, so we're sweet. We're
cool. Good. It's like we get these great rivalries. Look,
it's Liam versus the internet.
Look, you can't be the villain if you don't have enemies.
Yeah. Also, movies are so much more entertaining when they have a good villain. So
which villain would you villain would you channel for CanCon? What's your inspiration?
Heath Ledger, the Joker.
The Joker?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, everyone just likes him because he's really entertaining.
You're in the Joker?
Yeah, I'll do the Joker. I'll just literally my list for CanCon though is a bit different, so I'm going to run Winterleaf, which will be cool.
Which is interesting because people claim that David is Batman, so you're the Joker.
Yep, sweet, sounds good. So me and Dave will do round one grudge. Dave? No, I'm not. I don't want to lose to first round. I don't want to lose first round after watching him this weekend.
Yep. Cool, guys. That is wrapping things up. Liam, thank you very much.
Thanks for the weekend.
No, thank you. I'm gonna just wrap up really quickly and just explain the results that I currently have. So, what I know from Game 5. So we know Dave Kerr beat Chris Welfare. We had Matt Campbell defeat Michael Crichton. So that was Blades of Corn versus Sylvaneth. Liam lost to Pat Nevin. We had Joel McGrath beat Adam Burt. We had Chris Tott beat Ash McEwen. We had Scott Norwood defeat Jesse Perkins. We had Tim McDivitt beat Ethan McDonald. We had Dalton Copeland beat Luke Taylor. So the Measured Boys have had a good, last run. We had Gemma Shepherd defeat Hayden Walker. We had Thomas Holdsworth defeat Corey Ford. And in the last round for the Battle of the Wooden Spoon, Rob Reimers defeated Josh. So the Mother of Dragons, I believe, picked up the final win. His 2 Star Drakes. Look, it's always tough.
Mother of Dragons.
He didn't have any scenarios which rewarded heroes, or really. We had duality. But other than that, it's been a tough campaign for Rob. But been great.
Good range of scenarios.
Good range of scenarios. If you're interested in the final rankings, we aren't going to be streaming the presentations. It's just a lot of people have a long journey, and the people who own this technology have to get on the road. Keep a look on the Heralds of War Facebook page or Heralds of War Twitter, where you can see the final standings, all the photos from the event, and obviously if you didn't get all 5 rounds, you can watch the catalogue of this stream. So thank you for everyone who watched us today.
Thanks, Clint. Thanks, Dennis.
Thank you, Clint Mallet, for running a very successful event. Thank you, Dennis, for supporting us on your birthday. We'll celebrate. We've got cake. Thank you, Travis, for running the Heralds of War and setting up this technology. Thank you to all the players. And thank you, everyone on the chat, for keeping us with conversation for 15 hours of Warhammer. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you for everyone, both locally and internationally.
Yeah, I think anyone else to thank? I don't know. The club, really, for having us.
And thank you for the venue, although thank you for slowing us down yesterday during lunch. So, guys, absolute pleasure. I'm sure you'll see more Australian scenes streamed in the coming year.
We've got CanCon.
Yeah, keep an eye for CanCon. And I'm Anthony, AOS coach. It's been a pleasure working with you guys for the full 2 days. Good luck and thank you. Stream end.